studio. New traditions awaits at the Inn of the Mountain Gods. Enjoy the perfect getaway for the whole family at their premier mountain resort, where you'll create memories that will last a lifetime. For more information, visit innofthemountaingods.com.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. President Trump is in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, meeting with business and military leaders and members of the royal family, including the Crown Prince, who's the country's leader as prime minister.
President Trump meeting dignitaries alongside Mohammed bin Salman. The Crown Prince is not only alongside President Trump, he greeted him right off Air Force One. This is an important relationship. If the United States isn't here, officials say the Chinese will be here.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. A plan to cut Medicaid spending as part of a bill being taken up by a House committee today.
The Congressional Budget Office estimates the proposed recommendations would reduce deficits by more than $880 billion over a 10-year period. While the estimate is good news for Republicans trying to rein in government spending, Democrats argue some of the changes would lead to millions losing insurance.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. This is a portion of the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill to advance President Trump's agenda. America's listening to Fox News.
What's really going on? Daniel Velos back at it again at Permian Ford Lincoln, your new home of the Big Blue Gorilla. You'll see why whenever you come by. Check it out. Anyway, glad to be back powering B in the Breakfast Club. Also excited to be back here at Permian Ford making all the deals for all of Southeastern New Mexico and West Texas that are so outrageous you'll think twice about buying or selling your car anywhere else. Text me today, 575-441-7855. We have a radio discount code, Breakfast Club. That's 575-441-7855. Radio discount code, Breakfast Club. PermianFord.com.
Every year, thousands of nursing home and assisted living residents face neglect and mistreatment. But as an ombudsman, you can be a voice for those who often go unheard. And we're looking for volunteers. Ombudsmen advocate for residents' rights and ensure quality care. It's an incredibly fulfilling experience. I know because I am one. Whether you're retired or just starting your career, your dedication and compassion will make a significant impact. Learn about volunteering as an ombudsman today at aging.nm.gov/volunteer. Sponsored by this station and the NMBA.
If you need an aggressive, experienced personal injury attorney who is honest and true, you need to get the Gorilla.
So I'm 23 years old. I worked at a warehouse, and I took an injury which caused the amputation of my right leg. I was approached by a specific firm, and they turned my case down within 5 minutes. I was told to come visit the Gorilla Law Firm, and immediately they saw potential in my case. And I tell you what, Gorilla Law Firm had my back when no one else did. The Gorilla Law Firm made me a multi-millionaire. And if you're injured, you call the Gorilla Law Firm, too.
The Gorilla Law Firm, 3130 North Grimes and Hobbs, or call 575-964-2720.
If you, your business, or your organization is needing a venue or facility to host a meeting, convention, party, or other special event, don't cram everyone into your tiny little office. Call the Lee County Event Center. You don't have to fill up the main floor. The Event Center has many other smaller rooms that are perfect for meetings, seminars, parties, and other special events. The Lee County Event Center, seating for 25 or 2,500. 5101 North Lovington Highway in Hobbs. Call 575-391-2100 or visit LeeCountyEvents.com.
The global demand for oil and natural gas is growing, and leaders are looking to American producers to satisfy that demand with the abundant resources available in our country. If you're passionate about keeping energy affordable for your neighbor and reliable for everyone, then it's time you consider a career in oil and natural gas. Coterra Energy is expanding their Permian team and is offering an unmatched employee benefits package. If you're interested in applying, text Coterra to 71441. That's COTERRA to 71441. Coterra Energy is an equal opportunity employer.
Pharmacy 575 is excited to welcome nurse practitioner Jessica Barrera to their team. From primary care to minor injuries, she is ready to care for our community. Walk-ins are welcome, but appointments are preferred. Offering the My Daily Medication program with pre-dose packaging, wellness consultations, weight loss plans, and more. Go see Pharmacy 575 at 305 East Sanger, Suite 600, or call 575-263-2908. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Pharmacy 575. Your health, their priority.
At Coffee Drilling LLC, they offer a wide range of drilling services, from small domestic water to agricultural and monitor wells. In addition to mud and rotary drilling, Coffee Drilling offers services to pre-existing wells, as well as troubleshooting of pumps and all control systems. Call Coffee Drilling today to schedule your routine maintenance or see about an upgrade to your water system. Call 505-270-1767. That's 505-270-1767. Coffee Drilling LLC, over 20 years experience and serving all of Hobbs, Lovington, and Eunice.
Southeast New Mexico weather.
Temperatures as we go down the 285 on this Tuesday, it's going to be a tough drive. Wind will reduce visibility and wind gusts over 45 to 50 miles per hour. The temperature is hot, 96 degrees in Roswell, blowing dust. Carlsbad, Artesia, blowing dust and 97 degrees. Our radio studios in Lovington, 93 degrees this afternoon, blowing dust. For W105 FM, I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts.
Your country plays on W105. Hello?
And there is a great deal of excitement and anticipation in the air.
Actually, it's a beautiful voice and a beautiful accent. The only problem is I can't understand a word you're saying.
In the Breakfast Club, being powered by Permian Ford, with the goal of being your #1 Ford dealer in New Mexico and West Texas. Broadcasting from the Inn of the Mountain God studio. The question of the day, brought to you by Lovington Auto Supply. They have parts for semis, heavy trucks, and industrial trucks. Text line being brought to you by Amigo Machinery, your Kubota dealer.
I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there.
Call or text now, 877-396-W105 to talk to us.
Good morning! Morning!
We are V in the Breakfast Club.
Good morning, gentle freak. Today is a very special day.
How so?
You know the saying, as American as apple pie?
America loves apple pie. We love apple pie.
Today, you can show your patriotism by celebrating National Apple Pie Day.
Apple pie, huh?
You've never had apple pie?
Well, today's your lucky day.
Today is National Apple Pie Day.
He likes his apple pie warm.
Yeah, just warm it up.
Because it's showtime!
And good morning to you. It is showtime, another day in paradise. I told you guys yesterday I was getting sick, and here I am. Tom got me sick all the way over here.
He did.
How the hell does that happen?
Oh, that's funny.
It's a good
now
question.
I got what he's got.
It's a good question. Well, Echo's gone on our end.
Hear you.
Here we go.
Not working?
Yeah, we got Echo.
Echo. That's
Hopefully it's not over the air. Let me
somebody let us know if it's echoing on the air.
Yeah. And it is over the air.
It is over the air.
I have no idea what it is. Let's try this. I wonder if it's any better now. Nope.
Hello.
You're the only one that can't hear it.
I can, and you know what? I can't hear worth a damn because everything stopped up. But, but I don't hear echo. I'm not hearing any echo.
I'm gonna try something. Y'all go ahead, Kevin. Let me see what I can do.
So I'm hearing no echo at all. So. Today, Cough Drop Day, Frog Jumping Day, International Hummus Day, Leprechaun Day, National Apple Pie Day, Fruit Cocktail Day, Sex Differences and Health Awareness Day. What the hell does that mean? Sex Differences. Top Gun Day, Tulip Day, and World Cocktail Day going on. Pope Leo, boy, I tell you what, the news outlets have been talking to his brother a whole bunch. And he shared a post online calling Nancy Pelosi a drunk. Well, at least he's honest.
Right.
Yeah, according to the report, the post was way before the Pope got elected Pope. So that way, way, way before. For the record, Nancy only likes wine coolers. Sure she does. And Democrats blasting Donald Trump, former President Joe Biden for a reemergence in the spotlight, interviews on The View. And so the Democrats don't like the fact that Joe Biden came back and was interviewed. They had no problem when Barack Obama was done with office doing interviews because Barack Obama was the face of the Democratic Party. So the Democrats are hoping Joe Biden, they were hoping that he would just go away permanently, maybe. Yeah, permanently. Food and Drug Administration on Friday approved an at-home cervical cancer screening tool called the Teal-1, which allows women between the ages of 25 and 65 to self-collect samples and for the test, the HPV tests, and send it in.
Oh, that's
so it is a at-home cervical cancer screening tool, just like you can do for colon cancer.
Yeah. Interesting.
Kind of the same. And ABC renewed Celebrity Jeopardy and Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. So in case you watch those two, they are re-upped and re-signed. Donald Trump and Saudi Arabia this morning. And the Democrats are already hating. I've got multiple cuts already this morning from the Democrats hating. And you know what? I said it this morning. Wait, we got a peace deal between Pakistan and India. We've got Putin and Zelensky going to sit down for the first time in almost 4 years and negotiate a peace deal. We got a China deal. We've got we got a deal with Europe. This guy could come up with a cure for cancer, and they still wouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. Oh no, he's taking a plane. He's not taking the plane. They're donating the plane to the Defense Department. And look, could it have listening devices and that type of stuff? Maybe, but I would think our technology is better than their technology,
right?
And we'd be able to find any listening devices. Watching Donald Trump in Saudi Arabia this morning, he's a leader.
Oh yeah.
The people coming up to him and wanting to have 5 minutes of his time, people lined up to talk to Donald Trump. Joe Biden couldn't do that.
No.
Kamala Harris couldn't pull that off. Donald Trump is a leader. And the whole idea of what's going on in Saudi Arabia right now is about AI. And if the Middle East comes to America and says, we want your semiconductors, we want your super high capacity semiconductors, we want to partner with you when it comes to AI, and we can push the Chinese out of that market, that's a huge win for America. That's huge. So quit fighting it. Just say Donald Trump is a hell of a leader. Just go ahead and say it. Get it out your damn system. Let's go. Donald Trump is a hell of a leader. I think you could say it. Even if you're a liberal, I think you could say it. All right, we're going to check the weather. Morning show this morning being brought to you by Seminole Siding and Construction, a trusted name across southeast New Mexico. Exceptional construction and siding services, residential services. They offer, industrial and commercial metal buildings. But when it comes to residential, they offer windows and doors and siding, metal roofs, shingle roofs, seamless gutters, so much more. If you are a victim of hail damage and you need somebody to go and check out your roof and check out your siding and all of that, give them a call, 575-391-1430. They work with the insurances for you. And so if you haven't had anybody come out, give them a call today or go to the website, SeminoleSidingAndConstruction.com. It's a company that Southeast New Mexico can trust. Weather for the day, red flag warning in effect all day today. High temperature getting up to about 88. Winds will be gusting up to 40 miles an hour by this afternoon. Winds this afternoon, 40 miles an hour, 35 coming up for tonight and even into tomorrow. High winds and will remain in the 80s. I'm sorry, that's for Albuquerque. The weather for Albuquerque. Southeast New Mexico, we do have wind. 40-mile-an-hour winds are expected. High temperature today getting up to 95. 69 tonight with 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the winds will stick around 40-mile-an-hour winds expected for Wednesday. and Ruidoso. We're talking about a red flag warning and a wind advisory in effect. 76 for the high. Winds gusting up to 50 miles an hour from the west. 45-mile-an-hour winds tonight. And tomorrow, 55-mile-an-hour winds for your Wednesday. Looks like most of that wind should be gone by Thursday. 5-day forecast. Go to W105radio.com. Quick check of the weather being brought to you by Finn's at Artesia. Finally, big savings going on right now at Finn's. Fryer wings, $1.99 a pound. Pork spare ribs, $2.49 a pound. Get the choice bottom round roast, $4.99 a pound. And the select New York strip steaks for $7.99 a pound. Mangoes in the produce department are just 99 cents each. Grape tomatoes, just 99 cents for a pint. Red strawberries, $1.77 for a pound. And get the grapes, seedless grapes. They're red. Get them for $1.99 for a pound. Deli department, white bread, $1.28 a loaf. Plus, get the turkey breast, hickory smoked, for $7.49 a pound. Black Forest ham for $4.29 a pound. And if you're looking for refreshments, they've got you covered with all of the refreshments. Check them out today for Pepsi, Mountain Dew, and Big Red, and other flavors too. 24-pack, just $11.99. Check them out today. 7:16. Trump targets the massive investments from the Middle East. That's part of his first trip. I'll hear from the Democrats what they're saying about this trip. They're saying he's stealing money.
He's
is
not.
what they're saying.
He's not.
I mean, you're probably surprised that they're saying that.
No.
I will
No.
play that cut from Chris Murphy where he said, no. Donald Trump is, all this money's going right in his pocket. It's not going to benefit the American people. Now, if you were telling me that about Joe Biden, I would go, you're probably right.
Well, you can follow the money.
Well, and we have followed the money.
Mm-hmm.
And so people like Chris Murphy, I say, if that is true, please turn on, give us all the facts on this.
Right.
Please.
Right.
Congratulations going out to Donald Trump, another hostage release yesterday. American-Israeli hostage, Eden Alexander. Unbelievable. Donald Trump, another hostage released. How many hostages have we had released under Donald Trump? I think this is the 6th. And in recent months.
All the live ones.
Yes, the ones.
Yeah.
Yes, the
Well,
ones
and that's the sad thing. Nearly 600 days after he was captured, he was kept handcuffed in the cage. He is finally out of the cage and back in America. He will visit with the president in a couple days. They said he's got a lot of rehab to do. But I don't know if you heard the tape of his mom hearing his voice.
Oh, no.
Did you guys hear that?
No.
It's unbelievable.
No.
It was unbelievable. The way she screamed, and, her son's finally free. And he said, thank you. Thank you so much, Donald Trump, for not forgetting me.
Wow.
Thank you. All right, 618, 618. We still have the
yes,
the
and
echo.
Will got in here, and he just sent a message, and he said it's on your end.
My end?
That's what he said.
I don't know how it's. Well, let me.
I don't know. Nothing like fixing things on the fly.
Nothing changed on my end.
Is there a pot open?
No. Is it going now?
Let me see. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
That's the high fidelity. And without that, we'll see if I can play cuts.
All right. Well, let me see what I can do on this end for that. Let me pull up Dropbox.
Well, we'll try it. In fact, let's let me play a music cut and see, because I got your music coming up. Can you hear this?
Yes.
You can hear the whole thing.
Yes.
Instrument.
Yes.
Well, God bless.
Okay.
God bless America.
There we go.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you,
so
Will.
much.
Well, remember last week?
Well, and I hated to do that because he's getting ready to go to dialysis.
Yeah.
But remember last week it would not play the sound bites unless I had high fidelity?
I do.
God bless. I have no idea. All right, 619. Thank you, William Rooney.
Yes.
Tom A would have done it if we'd have called him. He would have figured the damn thing out.
Yeah, no.
All right. Monica, what you told me this morning about Tom, I think we need a somebody to sign a pledge to Tom that we all have his back, and he needs to comply.
Yes.
He needs to take his medicine and eat right.
And
So
Will Rudy,
anybody would be willing to sign an online pledge that we're watching him. Sad that we got to do that.
correct.
Yeah.
We are having to treat this 64-year-old man-child like a man-child.
Well, and
Like
this
a
has
child
been the
man.
problem from day one. This has been the problem from day one. So just take your medicine, bro. Just do what you're supposed to do.
Please.
Eat,
Please.
take your medicine, and God bless you. We love you. You're not smarter than the doctor, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah, if they say you need it, you need it.
You need it, Tom. Por favor. You're in a
I don't
rush.
get it.
You're in a hurry to get back to work, but for what? So you can be back in the same place because you haven't taken your medicine?
But you can't come
Yeah,
back
I
unless
don't-
you're taking your medicine.
Correct.
Yeah, and you got to get well. So God bless you. All right, we got a lot of things to get to this morning. Our number 877-396-W105. I haven't talked about the question of the day this morning. Question of the day this morning being brought to you by Lovington Auto and Truck Supplies, your Napa dealer. Find them Avenue D in Lovington. Question of the day this morning is being brought to you by, of course, Lovington. And the question of the day, how many bones have you broken in your lifetime? How many bones have you broken in your lifetime? Our number 877-396-W105 being brought to you by Kubota and Amigo Machinery. They are your Kubota dealer in Roswell. And people from all over southeast New Mexico, go to Amigo Machinery. Go by and talk to Bill today. By the way, broadcasting from the End of the Mountain God studio. And we are being powered by our buddies at Permian Ford. Go by and see Daniel today. Man, I am packed with things. Donald Trump, this whole idea of bringing the price of drugs down. I have been preaching this 20 years now, saying that we were co-opting everybody else's low price of drugs. And what got me thinking that was my uncle, many, many years ago, was sick. And his medication, the VA would pay for some of it. And the VA wouldn't pay for other parts of it. And one of them was $500 a month. Well, he's on Social Security. He can't afford that. So I would go to Mexico and get it for $50. And so it got me thinking, why is it cheaper in Mexico?
Correct.
Because we have been paying the high price to co-op other countries. And the truth be told, most of those medications were developed right here in America. Why should we pay more?
Right.
So I'm gonna go through the whole thing coming up, and Donald Trump goes line by line, and this is good stuff. I'll get to that coming up in just a second. Price of oil on the way. Judge ends the DOJ oversight of the Albuquerque Police Department. Maybe the handcuffs are off the Albuquerque PD. This is what they've been saying is the problem. This is why they needed help from state police. This is why they needed more FBI agents there. But now the handcuffs are off. The DOJ oversight is gone from Albuquerque. And Blake, you remember why the handcuffs were on.
Mm-hmm.
So it was because of excessive force
Yes.
in Albuquerque.
Yes. That was originally.
What year did they
Yeah.
start doing that?
like 10 years ago.
Okay.
12 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So thank God the handcuffs are off. Let Albuquerque take care of Albuquerque.
Seriously.
Now state police can take care of the rest of New Mexico.
Good.
I mean, it's ridiculous that we have 2/3 of our state police officers in Albuquerque. It's like they get free officers. And I get it. That's where most of the crime is. But state police, that's not what they were initially. That wasn't the idea, that they would stay in the big cities. That wasn't the idea. Nope. New Mexico community nixes the idea of installing a baby box. Edgewood has said no. So the town of Edgewood changed course and will no longer create a place where parents can, drop off a baby.
So what you're saying is Edgewood is getting rid of a safe space.
Yeah, well, so the town was exploring the options of installing, like we have in Hobbs, like they have in Roswell, the Safe Haven baby box.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did an end around. But the good thing is New Mexico has 9 baby boxes, and Carlsbad, Alamogordo, Hobbs, Roswell, Belen, Grants, Espanola, Farmington, Bloomington. It is kind of amazing that there are no baby boxes in Bernalillo County.
Imagine that.
Because they just want to kill them.
Are in Santa Fe.
Because they
Are
just
in
want to
Las
kill them.
Cruces.
Because they want to kill them.
You might be on to something.
They don't want to offer the choice
just
of
hit
any
me
kind.
all of a sudden.
Yeah, they don't want to offer any life choice. The only choice that they want to offer is to kill
killing
the
the
baby.
baby.
Right.
Wow. Unbelievable. When I was given the list of things that Trump has done, he's got a face-to-face meeting with Xi Jinping. Face-to-face. Coming up at the end of the week.
Don't let that guy
where
fool
he
you.
will continue the
What,
talk
Gigi?
of resetting trade with China.
I know Trump won't let him fool him. But Xi Jinping, whenever you see him out, you think, oh, such a diplomat. No. That dude, he is ruthless.
Oh,
Rotten
that
to the
dude is
core.
ruthless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that dude is he's ruthless. Did you guys see the video of the Coast Guard making a dramatic arrest, and these smugglers were in the ocean?
Yes.
And
those waves were pounding them.
Yeah, and it was packed with drugs. So the Coast Guard released that video in the Eastern Pacific Ocean, and the Coast Guard cutter Kimball conducted that operation on April 17th, and they were able to apprehend the drugs and the suspects. So, yeah, they were yelling hands up in Spanish, and were able to get the boat under control. $214 million worth of drugs.
I remember that story. Incredible. How
They did the video, though. You got to go see it.
Oh, okay. But how ironic is it that now these drugs are coming over via ocean because they can no longer cross on land?
Well, that was the way they used to do it back in the
Right.
days. If you were in the Florida
remember-
Keys in the 80s and
Growing up, that's
They-
how I was taught drugs got into the United States was through boats and
well,
ships and
they,
whatnot.
they had every once in a while, like I only used to go there for vacations and stuff, but every once in a while you'd hear the locals talking about, oh yeah, a key washed up down over there, and I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
And there'd be like a kilo of cocaine would just wash up.
Wow.
I had a friend of mine that was a pilot, and he was an older guy, and he said, I've been watching these guys at the airport in Thibodeau that they land the plane and they kick stuff off the plane, and then a truck drives up, fixes stuff up, and they're gone.
Wow.
And he said one night when they kick it off and get back in, I'm going to go and take it. I was like, you're crazy as hell. They're going to kill you.
Well,
so look, there are all kind of ways. And then they started putting in radars that they could detect all that. And in southeast Louisiana with all the marshlands and stuff, they would drop stuff, and then, they learned how to beacon it, and, it was pretty easy to find.
Wow.
So,
crazy
world we live in.
Jimmy Buffett, because he was a pilot and he had a seaplane, and he actually had to write a song when he flew to Jamaica. It was him and Matthew McConaughey and somebody else. And they flew down to go to some chicken place in Jamaica.
Okay.
But the Jamaican police started shooting at him when they landed, because they thought they were picking up drugs.
Oh, wow.
And he wrote a song about it, but it's pretty funny.
How neat.
That's crazy.
All
right, Monica, the text line 877-396-W105 text this morning being brought to you by North Star Laundry, one-stop shop for all your laundry, offering dry cleaning, pressing, starching. They can wash, dry, and fold your clothes. Drop in and pick and drop your stuff off, and then pick it up later. And look, if you want to take care of your own laundry, not a problem. They have coin-operated machines. 609 West Lee in Carlsbad, 604 West Church in Carlsbad, 406 West Cedar in Loving. Check them out today. It's already 6:30.
Cool Hand Lynn said, save the bales. Dennis from Orla says, I'm 65. I've never broken a bone, and it wasn't a lack of trying, said Dennis. Irish
You
Outlaw
might be
here.
a star child.
Right? Irish Outlaw says 13 bones, not counting my fingers and toes. That's what he's broken. Jody from Lovington says, my wife has a medicine that she takes every month. It's 4 shots. And it's $10,800 every month. Drug prices in the United States really need to go down. This texter said,
how much of that do you have to pay, Jody? I'm just wondering, because like when my wife first went on dementia medicines, we had 2 that were $1,600 each out of our pocket.
I want to say that my parents, after Medicare and insurance or whatever, I want to say the total total price for my dad's prescriptions are about $400, what he pays after whatever.
Right.
But I think that's still even pricey.
Yeah.
I'd hate to spend that much money.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
And I can imagine Tom A. Now, Trump needs to do something to stop letting insurance companies tell us what they will treat or cover if we pay the premiums. Everything should be covered, says a texter.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm 62 years old, never had a broken bone or been in the hospital since birth. 40 years in the oil field. I am blessed. Yeah, you are.
Wow.
That is incredible. I broke one bone in my hand on a 3-wheeler about 30 years ago, and I escaped death on it several times. Those things needed to be outlawed the day they made them, but I wish I still had it.
Oh, those 3-wheelers were brutal.
Right? This texter said,
Fun.
I will sign the pledge for Tom. Okay. And B is low-key the Tom A when Tom A is not around. Kevin's always messing up that radio equipment, but it's never his fault, said a texter.
Well, and Blake can attest to this. Last week we couldn't hear we couldn't hear like the instruments and stuff when I played music if high fidelity was not on my end.
Right.
And so right before we came on, I went and flipped it on because last week. Blame Microsoft, okay?
I'm blaming they got rid of
Microsoft.
Skype. We didn't have that problem with
Sure.
Skype.
Bastards.
Republican Karen said, Will is the bomb. He wears a Superman cape. I've never met somebody who knows so much.
More like a Darth Vader cape, but yeah. That's good.
In radio. Jeff from the Patch says, Will is a beast. Rocket said, good morning, Monica. Good morning, Rocket. How is Tom A doing? Non-compliant. Y'all get on his tail. That's how Tom's doing. That's all I'm going to say for now. And Drew from Fort Stockton, Welby, I got to disagree with you, said what you said about Kamala Harris. She will give anyone an hour of her time. Only thing is, it'll cost you $200 and a penicillin shot.
Oh.
Adam from Artesia said, it sure seems that the Republicans are sitting on their hands in the House and Senate. I want to see them pass the no tax on tips and overtime.
Well, it passed in the House and the Senate. I don't know what the hell is going on with the Senate. And you don't hear a whole bunch about the Senate leader. I mean, the Speaker of the House, you hear a lot about. Well, the Senate leader, his name doesn't even come to mind. It's Thune, right? Do I have that right?
Yeah, the leader is Thune. Yes.
You never hear about the guy.
Good.
Nothing.
Good. I mean, I think he's doing it. It's good and bad because you really, there shouldn't be anybody that you hear about so much over the others. And
Right.
I know that he's
Yeah.
the leader, but only in those kind of contexts. So, but he's taller. Than
Looks
everybody.
like a grand jury indicted a New Mexico woman and her son first-degree murder after they're accused of killing a man at his house. This happened last month. The woman called police and said two people were banging on her door. Suspect was identified as Muha Green, 44 years old, and her 17-year-old son, Ricky Rogers. Police say the woman's boyfriend, Richard Powell, confronted the two outside, and that's when Green and his son, shot Powell after an argument escalated. And court documents said that Rogers shot the man several times. It's pretty much all we have on that story right now. New Mexicans are worried about the uncertainty of the economic future. Blake, what time does the numbers come out today?
They should have just been released, so 8:30 Eastern time. Let me go look.
So it says that people in New Mexico are very. So let me get this right. For 4 years,
okay, here's the
they
headline.
weren't worried about the economic future.
Okay, here's the headline.
Just now.
Consumer prices increase less than expected in April.
Oh.
That's good because that shows that inflation pressures, they kind of eased for the first month, that many of President Trump's tariffs were in effect. So, they didn't go up like they expected them to. Ha ha ha.
So the Republicans are right and the Democrats are wrong again. I
Yes,
think that's what you said.
And America is winning.
Yeah, I think that's what you just said. All right, we're going to talk about Travis Hunter coming up. Also, the price of oil. Let me get to the tweet of the day this morning. Thought for the day in just a second. Tweet of the day this morning being brought to you by A Custom Construction and Roofing and insurance specialists. Licensed, bonded, and insured, veteran-owned and operated by Dwayne Pinnick for 30-plus years, over 30 years. They've had that A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. 575-318-9725. A Custom Construction and Roofing. Warning you, beware of the out-of-town, out-of-state contractors, because when they're gone, your warranty is also gone with them. Tweet of the day. We've been hearing a lot about autism. Listen to what this doctor in Vietnam had to say about autism.
We need to wake up. Medical doctors need to wake up. Going back to Vietnam, Vietnam doesn't have anything. There's no such thing as autism in 1975, in year 2000, year 2001. There's no such thing. When Vietnam signed the WHO, when Vietnam signed into the International Monetary Fund, the banking system, Bill Gates and the Gates Foundation introduced the vaccination program into Vietnam. Now Vietnam has over a 300% rise in autism.
So it's just a thought. I know a lot of people are talking about autism right now, leading vaccines, and I know Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has also had a deep dive into that. Vietnam saying that autism was non-existent until they started getting the vaccines.
Wow.
That's scary. That is scary. I don't know if that's true, but he's saying the numbers are up 300%.
Oh, I believe it.
Wow.
I believe there's a direct
Three
connection.
300%. I haven't seen that report, but I would at some point would love to deep dive, do a deep dive into that. All right, price of oil this morning. Let's get updated with the price of oil being brought to you by Spinnaker Cementing Solutions, a division of CUD Energy Services. Spinnaker services the largest drilling programs. Look, they have 25 cementing crews in New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma. 200 experienced cementing professionals. They're ready to go to work for you. Find them at spinnakeroil.com or at 324 North Magnum Industrial Road in Hobbs.
Oil prices on the way up again. West Texas Intermediate crude, 62.76. That's up 81 cents. Brent crude is up 74 cents to 65.70. And natural gas is up a penny to $3.66.
All right, thought for the day. We'll get to that in a second. Look, Travis Hunter is a great individual. He really is. Did not have the best childhood. His dad was in and out of prison. But a woman was given a surprise of her lifetime when Travis Hunter sat next to her on the plane, and she took away, what a wonderful individual. She didn't know who he is. Monica, you know who Travis Hunter is?
No.
So Heisman Trophy winner, second pick in the NFL draft from Colorado. But Hunter sat next to Sandy Hawkins Combs on a plane, and she said, I had the most wonderful flight home from Denver, and I met the nicest young man. He sat next to me. He offered to put my bag in the overhead compartment and help me with my tray. He was always so polite, saying, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and saying anyone who that's their son or grandson, they should be proud. And she posted up his picture on Facebook, and it turns out to be Travis Hunter. And by the way, he sent her jerseys and all kind of other stuff, and pretty cool that
What a nice guy.
he's the number 2 draft pick in the NFL, making more money than most people will make in their lifetime. And he's just a nice guy. Just a awesome, nice guy.
I like it when nice guys win.
Me too.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. All right, Monica, you want to get to the text quickly, and then we'll go right to Donald Trump and the idea of lowering the price on drugs. Morning show this morning being brought to you by WWRV times3.com, 988-0392. Look, these folks have a 162 RV sites, 30 and 50 amps available. That includes all your utilities and high-speed internet. 3 locations in Carlsbad. You can find them at WWRV times3.com or call 988-0392. Monica?
Wingnut out of Stephenville says, have y'all heard Governor DeSantis is making a comment about why do we pay property taxes once our homes are paid for? So the government is renting our land to us. This really taxes those that are wanting to retire.
Amen.
Smokey in Arizona said, good morning, guys. And Monica, have a great day. Good morning, Smokey. You have a wonderful day as well. This texter said, the stock market fell a few weeks ago. Everybody lost their dang mind. Up over 42 yesterday. Didn't hear nobody praising Trump. Did you?
Nope.
Mike from Edgewood said,
Still up this morning.
DJT is bringing peace, and the war hawks of the Democrats are mad because they're most likely invested in war products.
They are.
They are invested in it one way or another. Tom A. Lover called you Kevin A. Reese.
I could be.
And
I'm barely here this morning.
I hate you all equally says, has anybody read that overtime bill? No.
No, because
Monica
I'm not
has a
going to read
fan.
it until it passes the Senate and that actually becomes a bill.
Daydrian from Carlsbad says, I love you, Monica.
Well, Daydrian, good morning in Carlsbad, New Mexico. Mark from Lovington said, good morning, y'all. I never broke a bone in my body, but I did fracture my back in 3 different places. They called it a broken back, though.
Not just broke back.
That's close enough, damn. We're going to give it to you. We'll get, I mean, as a guy that's done the same a couple times, I'm going to give it to you.
I broke 12 vertebrae in my back and neck in 2014
Ow.
from an accident caused by another driver and back surgery, and I still can't get disability. I'm 60, said Trucker Gary. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah, it's tough.
Eric says, my medicine costs $40,000 per month. Stupid. Oh, my
What?
gosh, Eric, what are you on?
And how much of that is covered?
Sure. Patrick from
Holy
Artesia
crap.
said in 2014, I broke my back and right leg in a motorcycle accident.
Oh, wow.
That editor chick said the echo made it sound like Blake was about to give us a grand quest. I went and got my bow. Blake, wasn't Bono from the band U2
Yes.
with Jimmy Buffett when that happened?
Yes, that was the
Joe
other
from
person I
Hobbs?
couldn't think of. It was Matthew McConaughey and Bono from U2.
Okay, and John from Eunice. Good morning, guys and Monica. Tommy is being non-compliant. The hell you say? LOL. I bet if somebody brought him a cheap double meat cheeseburger right now, he would eat it. And the media will never report.
Well, and that is the problem. That is the problem.
Yeah,
So
the media
I'm going
will
to talk to him when we get off.
absolutely. The media will never report good news about this administration ever. Trump could eliminate the deficit, and these guys will be talking about gang members being illegally deported.
Yep.
Last one.
Yep.
Caveman Stoneman says, I hope Tommy gets better soon. Doubtful, but maybe he'll change his life and health choices and make sure that he lives longer.
All
Absolutely.
right, I want you guys to think about this. Think about South Africa, because the liberals are losing their mind over 69 people getting amnesty from South Africa. By the way, the amnesty program didn't end with Donald Trump.
Correct.
It didn't end with Donald Trump. But if you come over here and you seek amnesty and you break our law, yeah, we should have the right to deport your butt. So we'll think about South Africa. And this is the problem with the Democrats, because the South Africans are white that are coming over here. I'll talk about that in just a second. Donald Trump dives into the executive order that he passed yesterday, he signed yesterday, as he talks about drug prices.
I do want to say that Democrats could have done this a long time ago. They have fought like hell for the drug companies, and they knew they were doing the wrong thing. And it's going to be very hard. I was just telling the leader and the speaker that it's going to be very hard for the Democrats to vote against the one big, beautiful deal. The greatest tax cuts in history, greatest everything, but now you have the big drug prices because that's going to be included. It makes that whole situation different.
How do they go back to their district and say, no, I voted against no tax on tips?
Well,
I voted against.
They won't say that. They'll say something like, I voted against Donald Trump's overreach or something like that. They'll try and spin it. They'll try and spin it.
So the way this works is that America would become a favored nation. And that's how whatever the lowest price a country is paying for drugs. Say, and since I'm in the Philippines, I'll say, so my blood pressure medicine in the Philippines is 2 cents a pill.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
I'm not saying it is.
okay.
It's probably not much more than that.
Okay.
But in America, I'm paying, 50 cents a pill. So America would all of a sudden pay 2 cents a pill. Listen to what Trump had to say yesterday about favored nation status.
It's called most favored nation. We are going to pay the lowest price there is in the world. We will get whoever is paying the lowest price. That's the price that we're going to get. So remember that. So we're no longer paying 10 times more than another country. Whoever is paying the lowest price, we will look at that price and we will say that's the price we're going to pay.
So we will pay the lowest price. So say in Mexico, some medicine that Blake's on is a nickel a pill. We'll pay a nickel.
That's awesome.
And part of the reason is we're the ones that are coming up with most of these medications. Our universities are funded by the federal government, and they come up with the medications. And who makes the money off of that? Not the federal government.
No.
But the drug companies. And Robert F. Kennedy took the mic yesterday and said Congress has been bought and paid for by Big Pharma.
Is controlled in so many ways by the pharmaceutical industry. There's at least one pharmaceutical lobbyist for every congressman, every senator in Capitol Hill, and every member of the Supreme Court. By some estimates, 3. Pharmaceutical companies, the industry itself spends 3 times what the next largest lobbyist spends on lobbying. So this was an issue that people talked about, but nobody wanted to do anything because it was radioactive. They knew you couldn't get it by Congress. We now have a president who is a man of his word.
So this is Republicans and Democrats that are lobbied very, very hard by the pharmaceutical companies. And they have not been looking out for me and you. The politicians have not been looking out for us. They've been looking out for the pharmaceutical companies. Blake, why would they look out for the pharmaceutical companies?
Kickbacks.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
They're the biggest.
So,
yep, they are
ones.
I mean, look,
there's a couple of big kickback groups. Big Pharma is one of the biggest.
Yes.
Vacations
believe it or
and all
not,
kind of other stuff.
Believe it or not, Big Agriculture is the other one.
Yeah,
and
agriculture.
Then Big Oil. Those are the top 3.
Pharma.
But Big Pharma is.
That's why Big Pharma is against anything that's not a pill, right?
Sure.
Because that's where they make all their money. The agriculture is against anything that's really about health because they market certain products. And then the oil company, because we have transportation. But they're into renewables as well. So when you think of big oil and big gas, don't think of it just oil and gas, because they also do solar panels and stuff like that.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine from Louisiana. He was a senator and was a Democrat, then a Republican, then a Democrat, then a Republican. Then all of a sudden, his son takes his seat, and he becomes the head of the lobbyist firm that is doing most of the lobbying for pharmaceutical. Wow. And I'm just. By the way, I'm not going to talk about Billy Tozan, but Billy Tozan. Anyway, NIH director. I'm not going to even try to say this guy's name. He is a Indian American, and his name is a little bit different. But he talked about drug prices. Here's what he had to say.
I teach economics at Stanford as well as health policy. And one thing that's really, really simple in economics is that when you have a persistent price difference for the same product between 2 countries, there is something deeply wrong. And what President Trump has done is a historic measure that should have been done a long time ago. What we're going to do is make sure that those prices become much closer to equal, like a competitive market you'd expect. Right now, what's happening is the American people are subsidizing in large fraction the research and development efforts for drug companies around the world by the higher prices that we pay. With this new order, Europe will share the burden of that. And in fact, if you may think of it as like as somehow it's going after drug companies, actually it's helping drug companies. Because what we're also going to do with this order, what President Trump has done with this order, is he's said to European governments, look, if you are taking advantage of the drug companies by forcing them to charge very, very low prices, we're going to defend American drug companies in Europe.
So we're going to back our own drug companies and go after the other countries. God bless. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you. You might hate the man, but he's getting things done. At least admit that. We're going to talk about amnesty for South Africans coming up in just a second. 6:54, we're beyond the Breakfast Club. Thought for the day being brought to you by Wakefield Oil, 35 years serving Southeast New Mexico. Quality products, excellent service, dependable. Boom or bust, they deliver out in the patch. Give them a call, 575-622-4160. Need interstate batteries, they can deliver them. If you need fuel, gas, diesel, DEF value, yeah, they can take care of all of that. WakefieldOil.com or 575-622-4160. Thought for the day in memory of Mr. Wendell Wakefield and Wakefield Oil. Thought for the day this morning is, I know a family that's very temperamental. Half temper and half very mental. Temperamental, for sure. Definitely. 5 minutes away from the hour of 7 o'clock. Santa Fe police investigating a downtown shooting death in Santa Fe. Happened about 3:30 a.m. yesterday morning. Police arrived on the scene, found a man that was the victim of one gunshot wound. They are, of course, developing story, trying to, they're investigating. If you know more about this, they say, please get in touch with Santa Fe Police Department. Agitators back out at the ICE facility in Newark, New Jersey, protesting. Did you see the clergy that were out there protesting? 50
yes.
members of the clergy were out there protesting.
It's wild.
Clergy members volunteered to be arrested and will attempt to enter the ICE facility. You bunch of damn idiots. They're not putting you in an ICE facility when they detain you.
No.
You're going to the police station.
Right.
I hate to call a man of God or a woman of God idiots, but I mean, who thought of this? Yeah, they're going to detain us in the ICE facility, and we're going to get to see what's going on in there.
Well, again, Kevin.
Where were these same people when we were separating kids? Where were these same people when 400,000 kids disappeared in America? Where were these people?
Exactly.
Where were they?
It just, everything they do really shows that I'm not kidding when I say liberalism is a mental disorder. Because they just go more and more over the cuckoo's nest.
Sure.
It's like a deep ride off a cliff.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Looks like a man in Springfield, Massachusetts, sentenced to prison for a 2022 shooting of a cook at a bar because the guy made his sandwich and put bacon on his sandwich.
Oh my gosh.
So he shot the cook.
Oh.
This guy was mad because he had bacon on his sandwich. I mean, by the way, if you make my sandwich and you put bacon on there, I'm going to thank you. Wow. Bacon?
Me too.
I'm going to be thank you.
Me too.
God bless you. So this guy is going away for, looks like he's going away for at least 10 years. Congratulations. Emmanuel Macron, of course, from France. They are now saying when he sat down in Kyiv with, who was there? German Chancellor Zelensky, the UK Prime Minister, that there was cocaine. My German friend told me that today. He goes, did you see the cocaine? It was in a dish. I was like, what? So people are saying if you go watch that video of those three, that you can spot the cocaine.
Yeah.
And this does not surprise me because remember when Zelensky went to the White House? I said, this dude is on some serious coke.
You did
He couldn't
say
sit
that.
still. Yes.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't surprise me. That does not surprise me. Not at all. And supposedly we've got a Venezuelan gang that's more violent than the Trendy Agua that's emerging in rural America. Emerging Venezuelan gang, potentially more violent than Trendy Agua, targeting rural America. Members of the Venezuelan gang called the Anti-Tren gang on the spotlight of federal authorities as of now. By the way, they said they're equal opportunity offender. Women, men, it doesn't matter. They take all comers into the anti-trend. So I guess they don't like Trendy Agua, is what it sounds like, because they're anti-trend. All right, we're going to talk when we come back. We'll talk about the amnesty in South Africa. Blake, have you kept up with that story about white people being killed, their land being confiscated, and them being killed?
I've seen it some. I haven't really been keeping up with it, but I have seen it, and I thought, well, this is the progression that they've been going for a while.
Right.
I just
for a
barely
long,
heard about
long
it this
time.
morning.
Yeah.
And so the people that were happy with allowing 20 million people to come in the country are not happy that they're allowing South Africans to come in the country. So we'll talk about that when we come back. Also, Minority Speaker Jeffries saying that Trump got punked by the Chinese.
What?
That's what he's saying. That's what he said. We'll get to that in just a second. Morning show this morning being brought to you by State Representative Randall Pettigrew, reminding you the governor, I'm sure, will call a special session, no doubt, another gun grab. This governor is always trying to, do things that against our constitutional rights, state constitutional and our U.S. Constitution. But Randy Pettigrew is a constitutional conservative. And so Randy is always fighting for us. You can find out more information at randallpettigrew.com for more information. Sign up for his newsletter, and especially when they're in session, you can find out what is going on. Randy Pettigrew, you can go to the website, randallpettigrew.com. Monica in the text. We'll take a break, get you updated with news up next at 7:01. KWMW Maljamora, 105.1 FM, 93.5 KWES Ruidoso, and KDAZ AM 700 FM 96.9 in Albuquerque.
What do you think of Travis's girlfriend or his fiance? Asks Tommy Lover, the one that you were talking about on the plane. Still, I don't even know the guy.
I don't know. I don't know
I don't know
who the
anything about his
girlfriend is.
What do I think about his girlfriend? If you believe what's in the news that, he would drop her off at parties, and there are videos that have come out with her and other guys and stuff, because he doesn't drink. He doesn't go to parties.
Right.
His life is football. So he would drop her off at the parties, and then videos have come out with her and guys, where she's grinding on other guys and stuff.
That's
he's
wrong.
a nice guy. I
Yeah.
think he's going to get his heart broke.
Republican Karen says, is the no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, is that going to be shown as income at the end of the year? We don't know.
I don't think so.
I broke my right wrist, one bone completely into and fractured the other one playing football. That's what my answer was. I broke my left wrist when I was like 8 or 9, I think. I fell off the monkey bars and landed directly on a rock, and it broke my wrist. That's the only bone I've ever broken. Bob says, no one has mentioned that today starts the CVSA DOT CMV Blitz. I hope everyone driving a semi speaks English for the next 3 days. You're right, Bob.
No habla.
The only people who should be able to vote on bond issues or any issues that raise property taxes are property owners. And this person said, but they are Africans. Oh, I see. They're upset at the pigmentation of their skin, but they're not racist.
Yes, that's it.
Right?
Yep.
Exactly. And Eric answered back. He says, I have a bleeding disorder. The pharmacies deliberately max out the insurance. Don't even get me started on health insurance. None of them are any good. They're a bunch of scamming frauds, says Eric. Cohen Lynn said the FDA should separate agencies. Now the food agency allows ingredients in food that they know the drug agency already has the cure for, but only for a never-ending flow of money to treat the sickness but never cure it. Ding, 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 ding. Pine says Trump needs to make insurance like drugs, the same across state lines. Did they mention if the bacon hater is a Muslim or a felon? Asks the texter. And I need to request no tax on local rodeo winnings, says the texter. And that's it for the text line, Kevin.
Right on.
Yeah, just don't say anything about rodeo winnings.
Yeah.
Just fly under the radar. That'd be the best thing to do. All right, we're going to take a break, keep you updated with everything coming up after the break. We'll talk about South Africa. I got a couple cuts. And ABC News tries to gotcha Donald Trump again. He ain't got time for that. He ain't got time. We'll talk about that. And Jasmine Crockett, tell you what, you can't pass anything by Jasmine. And Jeffries talking about Trump got punked. Trump got punked. We'll get to that. Plus, coming up during the 7 o'clock hour, taking out trash, things that happened on this date in history. Also, we will do our national anthem and our Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm going to be interested this morning when the stock market opens, where are we setting records today? Are we coming close?
Give me just a second, and let me switch screens, and I will tell you.
Yeah, I tried looking it up just a second ago. So
right now,
I mean, it just opened.
Yeah, well, it opens in 25 minutes.
Oh, 25 minutes.
Yeah, right now we are sitting at 42,322 before the market opens in 25 minutes.
So let's go.
So it opens at 9:30 Eastern time is when it opens.
Okay, got it. All right, 7:05 news this morning being brought to you by Twin Wells Fuel Station. If you're driving on 128 between Jowl and Carlsbad, don't forget you have a location that can save the day. Exit off of 128 on Buck Jackson Road, go down 2.75 miles. Fill her up. They're open 24/7, a large facility. It's covered in case of rain, and they sell unleaded, green diesel, red diesel, DEF. Twin Wells Fuel Station, accepting credit cards, debit cards, and your fleet cards. Be safe on the road from Twin Wells Fuel Station, right off of 128 on Buck Jackson Road. We're coming right back. We're Beyond the Breakfast Club.
MTD Radio News, I'm Blake Ovard. A new administrative complex could be coming to Eddy County, but commissioners have yet to determine the project's estimated cost or timeline, potentially ranging from 14 months to 4 years. Eddy County commissioners opted last year to move forward with a proposal to shift both the county's administrative offices and its jail from Carlsbad's downtown area on Green and Main Streets to a location near the Cavern City Air Terminal. Between the jail and administrative offices, the county last year estimated the total cost would be about $350 million. And the Texas House passed a bill on Friday that lets the governor determine if countries whose residents, governments, and other entities could be banned from buying real estate in Texas. Members granted the governor such power when they amended Senate Bill 17, with real estate sales restrictions previously limited to countries designated as national security threats, including China, Iran, North Korea, and Russia. The bill now heads back to the Texas Senate, where the amendments must be approved before the bill can be sent to the governor. And the Limiting Incredulous Zealots Against Restricting Drilling Act, or LIZARD, of 2025 was introduced April 2nd and would undo the federal endangered species status of the Dunes sagebrush lizard, a species that dwells in the sand dunes of southeast New Mexico and West Texas, amid the nation's busiest oil and gas fields. Advocates for conserving the lizard argued its primary threat lies in the mining for sand used in the fracking process. The status of the Dunes sagebrush lizard has sparked many debates for years, but it was listed as endangered under former Democrat President Joe Biden in a move that was seen as part of a wider 30 by 30 plan. And that's the way it is. I'm Blake Ovard. This is MTD Radio News.
What is the Safe Haven Law? In New Mexico, you can bring your infant up to 90 days old to any Safe Haven site without fear of being criminally charged.
This includes hospitals, fire stations, and police departments. Monica Kelsey, founder of Safe Haven Baby Boxes, has worked diligently to provide 3 baby box locations for your convenience. Hobbs's Baby Box is at Fire Station 1, 301 East White Street. Carlsbad's Baby Box is at Fire Department Station 1, 401 South Halegueno Street. Roswell's Baby Box is at their Central Fire Station, 200 South Richardson Avenue. Remember, if you can't make it to one of these Safe Haven Baby Box locations, you can take your infant to any hospital, police department, or fire station. No shame, no blame, and no names. Visit shbb.org for more information.
At Franklin Veterinary Clinic, they're a full-service clinic that offers comprehensive care for family pets, equine athletes, and livestock alike. They have multiple veterinarians on staff providing the best possible care for your animals at every stage of their life. And when emergencies arise, they offer 24-hour ambulatory services and after-hour emergency care. The new emergency number is 575-808-7725. Franklin Veterinary Clinic, a tradition and excellence in caring, proudly serving Lincoln, Chavez, and Otero counties.
This Lovington Sports Report is brought to you by Norley Hospital District. United in service, trusted for life.
Lovington Medical Clinic offers extended hours for your convenience. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. with same-day or next-day appointments for your minor injuries, minor illnesses, and minor wounds. Call us today at 575-396-6611 to schedule your next appointment.
Blake Ovard, MTD Radio. We're talking to Lovington boys baseball coach Chris Cruz. Coach, it was a heartbreaking loss to Albuquerque Academy. So give us a wrap up on the season.
We got out of what we put into it. It was one of our things that we went into it with our heads high. We had a struggling season from last year. Ended up getting a lot of kids back senior-wise. I was able to win way more games than we did last year. So that's always a good thing. I think we ended the season on 13-15, entered the playoffs with a 500 record. So that's always good. We want to send out our seniors in a good fashion. We hit a roadblock with Albuquerque Academy. We knew they were a good team coming in as the 3 seed, and we battled. We went into we had a game plan going into it. We just didn't make the crucial hits. We put the ball in play pretty well. Game 1, it got away from us a little bit. They ended up run ruling us. Game 2, we went into it with our number 1 pitcher, and he gave us a good chance to win. We left too many people on base. When they did the stats at the end of the game, we left 7 runners on base. But it's just one of those things where that's how baseball goes.
This Lovington Wildcat Sports Report was brought to you by Norley Hospital District. United in service, trusted for life.
The following program is for entertainment purposes only.
We don't get fooled again.
Be in the Breakfast Club powered by Permian Ford, home of the lifetime Permian Powertrain Promise. That means your engine and transmission performs for the life that you own the vehicle or it's covered. Fear has 2 meanings. Forget everything and run, or face everything and ride.
Actually, it's a beautiful voice and a beautiful accent. The only problem is I can't understand a word you're saying.
Conservative values, conservative talk. On Be in the Breakfast Club. Call 877-396-W105.
Listen up, maggots.
Your morning briefing starts now.
Then and now. Graduation commencement speeches, then.
Okay, before you go out there, I just want you to know the students are really excited to see you. Just talk about whatever you want. By all means, have fun.
Okay, great. Graduation commencement speeches, now.
Okay, before you go out there, I just want you to know the students are really offended you flew here on a private jet. It highlights your privilege in a way that's going to make it very hard for them to concentrate during your speech.
Wait, are you...
Do me a favor. Don't ask how they're doing, because it speaks to you being out of touch with their struggles.
Is this...
And please don't congratulate them. It could trigger bad memories of the times they didn't succeed.
Wait.
And whatever you do, please do not mention the President of the United States, the Supreme Court, courtship, Halloween costumes, food allergies, anything about your ethnicity whatsoever.
Holy heck. Can I even say hello?
You know what? Let me check with legal. I'll be right back.
That's true. That's where we're at today. Right there. 100%. That's where we're at. Our number 87. It's sad but true. All right, we'll check the weather coming up. We'll go to the text line. Morning show this morning being brought to you by La Tienda in Carlsbad, home of the taco bar and the made-from-scratch tortillas, the way Mama used to make them. They also have a made-from-scratch bakery. They can make all your cakes. Check them out. Some of the specials this week: top sirloin steak, $6.99 a pound. Split fryer breast, $8.69 a pound. Cooked shrimp are just $6.99 a pound. And sirloin cut pork chops are $1.49 a pound. Cucumbers, $3 for $1. Also, 5-count avocados, just $2.99. Extra large grapes are $1.99 a pound, and hothouse bell peppers are 99 cents each. Get your roast beef for $12.49 a pound. Virginia smoked ham or off the bone ham, $4.99 a pound, and get the lemon pepper turkey for just $7.49 a pound. Looking for refreshments? They've got you covered there too, with all your Coke, Dr. Pepper, Sprite, and other flavors. Get them today. 12-pack. Make that a 20-pack for $12.99. Get it all at La Tienda. Monica and the Tex.
All right. I haven't broken a bone unless you want to count my toe, says Smokey.
Missing doesn't count as broken.
Where are all the people that scream racism? This is the perfect example in Africa. Or does it only count white and black and not black on white? Ooh. Digger Bill said
Well, and every story that they talk about this is apartheid. It's all linked to apartheid. So this is like
payback,
reparations for apartheid.
Well, and that's never right. You know, you can say what you want to say. Reparations or revenge or payback or whatever you want to call it is not right. You know, if you were suppressed because of your race and now you're not anymore, take that and move forward.
Sure.
Right? Don't say, okay, now that we're equal, I want to punish the other side.
Right.
I mean, that's never right. I don't care what side you're on. And there's no people that has never been a slave to some other group of people.
Right. All right.
Apartheid began in what, 1948, and it did end in 1990 it ended. 1990. It started ending, you know, it really started kind of dwindling down in the 80s, but it was gone by 1990.
Sure, but still, okay, so that's 40-ish years.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but there is not another people on the face of the earth that hasn't been subjected to some other people on the earth in the history of the earth. White people have been slaves, black people have been slaves, brown people have been slaves, red people have been slaves. Everybody's been a slave to somebody.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Why do we give amnesty to people? Why we give amnesty to people?
To help them, to give them a different
because they're
opportunity.
being persecuted in their country. That's how Ayan Omar got here. That's how Tlaib got here.
But then you don't get to punish the people who gave you the amnesty.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's people who are really
you don't get to pick and choose either.
Right.
You don't get to say, well, they're not the right color. Well, they're being killed.
Right.
So, yeah. We'll get to
there are other people who are enslaved right now. Look at all the human trafficking.
Amen. Amen.
So you have people who are genuinely in
bondage.
And who genuinely need help from our what should be amazing government in its process. Then you have people who are coming over to take advantage of our amazing government and its process. It's so sad.
Yep.
I hate that. Yep. But all right. You have to remember I shot it off. So in a way, I kind of broke it just with the bullet, says Smokey. Okay, Smokey.
Okay.
A simple woman
Well,
said
you did break the bone. Yes. Okay.
Technically.
We'll accept it. We'll accept that.
A simple woman said, I broke my scapula into 3 pieces. Ouch. I can still feel it when it gets humid.
Ouch.
And Digger Bill said, the reason why you're seeing clergy and church groups and local politicians protesting ICE facilities is that the money flow to NGOs and other groups has been cut off. Oh, that makes sense, Digger Bill.
Amen.
Bam,
Man.
bam, bam, bam.
And the
Thank you.
Romans weren't prejudiced. They just made everybody a slave.
There's lots of groups of people that way.
Sure.
You know, I mean, you look at any group of people, doesn't matter what empire it was,
Right.
wherever they went, and even some of their own people they made slaves of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not proud of this, but look at the people that came to this country that we enslaved. It just wasn't African Americans.
No, anything
The
that
Chinese,
says indentured
the Chinese,
servants.
the Irish.
Yep.
And you can say what you want about who built this country.
Yeah.
Those little Asians were out there on that railroad.
The reason you have
and they
railroads.
they were a big part of that railroad.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we treated them like slaves too.
Yeah. And they just called them indentured servants.
Yeah,
They
it was
were-
a little different.
They were still slaves, but they just had a different name.
My folks were slaves like that, the Irish. I want reparations.
That's it for the text line, Kevin.
I mean, you can send the check today. Oh, just get in touch with me. According to a brand new survey, a third of New Yorkers admit that they litter. A third on the sidewalk. Look, as long as you're not pooping on the sidewalk.
Yeah, that's kind of litter.
Yeah, I
Or
guess
you-
that
or you-
pooping is.
Or you need a litter box.
Yeah. And South Florida housing market undergoing sharp reversal as a number of homes for sale climbed to the highest level in nearly a decade. So they've got a lot of homes in South Florida that are up for sale. They're about as high as some of the residents in Colorado. Definitely time if you're looking for a home in South Florida, now is the time to buy. I mean, don't worry about the hurricanes or the invasion of the pythons or the limited public transportation or the brutal summer humidity or, the crappy sports teams. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Okay? So the market is down. Now, look, they're saying the same about Texas. I did that story yesterday where they said that, Texas has got a reversal coming on. Tom Brady's
Time to buy.
ex, Giselle, used the occasion of Mother's Day to share her first picture of her new baby. Of course, the new baby with the jiu-jitsu instructor.
It'll be doing
like
flips.
that wasn't going on. Yeah. And Diddy's trial started yesterday. One of the people that they called was a former pimp who Diddy did business with. And a couple of the people they thought that they were going to testify backed out of testifying.
Really?
So a couple of the witnesses decided they would not testify. Why do you think that happened?
They were probably paid,
Oh, threatened.
threatened.
Threatened. Maybe threatened is the word. Maybe threatened. Now, who was best of friends with Diddy back in the day? I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi. I can go back and find the video of him and Nancy. In fact, they gave him his own network to say thank you for the Get Out the Vote program. Yeah. I don't even remember the name of the network. It wasn't a big-time network, but it was an African-American network. I'll have to go back and look at that. Looks like a woman in Wheeling, Illinois, close to Chicago, was handing out THC-laced candy at a park on Mother's Day.
Wow.
Wow.
It's happened about 3:30 in the afternoon. And by the way, the kids became sluggish and fatigued, and they traced it back to one thing, the candy.
Wow.
That is not cool to hand out THC-laced candy to kids.
Right.
Not cool.
Lady ruined Mother's Day for multiple families. She's like Dopey or a dopey dad that forgot to buy a gift. And now is trying to drug everybody in the family. Not kids, though. Leave the kids alone. Odessa high school student arrested and charged unlawful carrying of a weapon and a minor in possession of alcohol, according to the Ector County Police. Odessa High School junior was arrested on Monday. Officers spotted the car that was suspected to be an aggravated assault case in front of the field house. While removing people from the car, police saw in plain sight alcohol in the car. When they searched the car, they found a gun. So the junior, who's a boy, has been charged. And a teen killed in Las Cruces has been identified. That was a shooting with the police. Police identified the man killed in a shooting on Walnut Street as Joshua Perlart, 18 years old. Police detectives said they have not yet confirmed the identity of another individual that was involved in that shooting. And Cooper Flagg, who is a big-time player for Duke, has decided to forego the rest of his college career. He's going to the NBA draft. Of course he is. Of course he's going to the draft. Looks like Dallas Mavericks will probably be the team that gets him.
Interesting. Which is okay because I think he's originally from Dallas. I think you're right, or at least that area.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool if he gets to go play in his hometown. And Sonny Holstein of The View changed her mind about Pope Leo after she learned that he had black roots. Oh, my goodness. He had Haitian roots. Wow. And she declared, we have a black pope. And Whoopi Goldberg was like, yeah, we got a black pope. Hell yeah, we got a black pope.
Wow.
Only problem is he really doesn't look black. And you know what? In the eyes of God,
it don't matter.
It doesn't matter if he's black or white. You know, if he's a good pope, you'll accept him.
Right.
If he turns out to be a bad pope, oh my goodness. Oh no, he's not black. Wait for it. Just wait for it. Yeah. And transgender Democrat, the only transgender representative Sarah McBride of Delaware, arguing about the Gulf of America, saying, don't we have more important things to do? Can't we get to transgender care? Can't we get to, like, menstrual cycles for transgenders? I made that part up.
No,
but
they believe in that.
Yeah.
Anyway, McBride is a biological man identifying as a woman. So
then he's a man.
There's no chances that you're going to have a menstrual cycle. I'm sorry to pick on you.
Well, look, if you're transgender, that word means, because words mean things. Transgender means you are in the process of going from one to the other.
We both missed this.
Just a cross-dresser.
The Gulf of America transition from Gulf of Mexico. That should be okay to the from the transgender.
Oh, good point. But again,
it just hit me.
That's a very good point. You need to make a meme about that. But but
it's transition.
If you are not going through the process of removing or adding, whichever way you're going, to be the other, you aren't transgender. You are a cross-dresser.
Right. Exactly. And that's what they used to call them.
Yep. Or transvestite. Same thing. Transvestite.
Yeah, transvestite, tranny, whatever you want, whatever your preference is. All right, let's talk about the South Africans. South Africans, Now, there's 69 South Africans that were granted amnesty,
Mhm.
and the left is losing their mind about 69. This happened yesterday on MSNBC, losing their mind because they're white South Africans.
Happens now that he's taken this step?
I don't know. I mean, it's like a Batman movie or something where all the bad guys get collected under one roof. I mean, like, who else do you now go and find other racists who have repressed people and give them refugee status here? It's just, I don't know where it goes from here. But I mean, you even said it. It's like a headline from The Onion. I don't even know how to get more extreme than this.
You know, I'm starting to believe the only racists are the racists that always talk about race.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying Donald Trump's granting amnesty to 69 individuals that have lost everything and are fearing for their lives. Now, if these people were from Haiti, they would be like, well, Donald Trump's bringing in some Haitians. That's a good thing. So Donald Trump was asked by ABC about granting amnesty to the 69 South Africans.
They're being killed, and we don't want to see people be killed. Now, South Africa leadership is coming to see me, I understand, sometime next week. And, we're supposed to have I guess a G20 meeting there or something, but we're having a G20 meeting. I don't know how we can go unless that situation's taken care of, but it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place, and farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me, but white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about.
No doubt. Yeah. They would be talking about it. They would. You know, the only difference between them, I remember the amnesty seekers, remember they rushed the border fence in Del Rio? I posted up a video of the people from South Africa holding the American flag as they entered the country, and the Haitians bum rushing the fence.
Right.
Big difference.
Oh, yeah.
Bum rushing and holding the American flag. All right, Jasmine Crockett. She's changing her accent again.
Oh,
remember yesterday I played her and she was totally Miss Ghetto.
Yes.
She was. She was saying, white boy.
Yeah.
White boy. White boy. Well, listen to her today. But she's talking about the reason people didn't vote for Kamala Harris because, only smart people watch the legacy news channels.
And so the thing is this, anybody that did their research voted the right way. The people that had the information, they voted the right way. These are facts. The more educated voters and the voters that went to the legacy media, frankly, they voted the right way. It's the ones that were getting the fake news or the lies. They were the ones that were voting the wrong way.
So if you voted for Trump, you're not very smart. That's what Jasmine said, and she comes up with another accent. Congratulations.
Well, and it would be okay if she was actually telling the truth, but she's just a flat-out liar.
She is.
No, of course she is. And speaking of liar, Hakeem Jeffries, minority leader, was on MSNBC yesterday saying Trump got punked by China.
If you are the Chinese, what have you learned about the art of the deal?
China punked the administration, and the administration backed down. That's no surprise because we've seen that happen over and over and over again.
So I went and did a little research after I saw this, and a lot of misinformation going on. And so before Trump took office, America was charging China 3%. China was charging America 8%. Now China is charging America 10%. And America is charging China 30%. So please explain to me how America got punked, how Trump got punked, and we now have an open market in China to sell a lot of things, sell our beef, sell our cars, sell our computer chips if they want them. They're probably not a big market for computer chips, but it opens up the market, and that's what's more important than the tariffs. Wouldn't you agree?
Right. No, yeah. Having the open market is more important because that means they're agreeing to buy more of our goods, which they have not done in a long, long time.
So I don't get how Trump got punked. All right, we're going to hear from Senator Chris Murray coming up in just a second. I got to get to the Taking Out Trash being brought to you by Trash Eaters, trash-eaters.com. Residential pickup, commercial waste hauling, or if you need a roll-off container, they've got you covered there. Veteran-owned and operated, local people, good folks. Go to trash-eaters.com or call Kayleen, 575-408-1719. Look, good people, local people, get in touch with Trash Eaters today. Trash-eaters.com, proud sponsor of Taking Out the Trash. I saw this and I had to comment. Popularity for Donald Trump is collapsing worldwide. The United States is becoming a less popular place globally in the aftermath of Donald Trump's return to the White House. 2025 Democracy Perception Index summarized the attitude towards democracy, geopolitics, and global power players. They canvassed 110,000 individuals in 100 countries, and it shows that the popularity of America is down. They look at Donald Trump as horrible, pathetic, and screwing over the United States. Meanwhile, China keeps improving in the global standards. And even Russia is improving in the global standards. Which leads me to the point of saying this. I could give two poops what the world thinks about America.
Right.
I care about what America is doing for us, not what we're doing for the rest of the world. You can say, well, that makes you a separatist. Maybe.
Okay.
And I'll accept that. It's damn sure better than being a globalist.
Amen.
So who cares if the popularity of America is down? Who cares what the rest of the world thinks about Donald Trump? I don't care. I care about my country because they care about their country.
Right.
And all they have been doing is using America as a place they can come and take advantage of us. And they hate Donald Trump because he's strong and he says, hey, you got to pay your fair share.
Yep.
Who cares? And you think China, the brutal dictators in China, oh, that's a great place. You think Putin, who will kill somebody that goes against him, you can't even have an election with Putin because he'll throw his competitor off a building.
Yep.
But, yeah, keep respect. Yeah. Take it out the trash. Being brought to you by Trash Eaters. By God. 7:37. Chris Murphy coming up in just a second. This clown had a lot to say about Donald Trump's trip to the Middle East. We'll get to that up next. Monica?
Just like the Dems, I lose my mind over the 69 also, says the texter. And dang, America is full of about 80% of dumb people that voted for Trump. LOL, said Gary from the Patch. And guys, what I find is BS is that they want reparations for something they never had to experience themselves and now have a better opportunity to make it in this world when they would have had they been born in the countries that their ancestors came from.
Right.
Said John
Victim
Venus.
mentality.
Well, and
victim mentality.
And in particular, when you want to talk about the Africans that were brought over here as slaves, they were sold into slavery by other Africans.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you want to talk about
I see
current political folks. Kamala
Amen.
Harris, was it grandparents or
family.
great-grandparents? They were some of the biggest slave traders.
I think you said
Yep.
that before.
in Jamaica. Yaman, Yaman, Yaman.
All right. You want to hear what anti-Trump leftist is saying?
Oh, here we go.
Here
Go
we
ahead.
go. Brace yourself. You guys don't want to admit it,
Something dumb.
but he is racist. I've said it before. We have people from all over the world, but somehow the rapists, the killers, and all the bad people threatening Americans come from only color-based countries, according to Trump.
That's not true.
There's a lot of
No.
people coming with the same story. The only difference now is color.
There's no color.
Check mark.
They come
so-
from everyone.
Anti-Trump leftist?
You're an idiot.
Yeah, we deported Chinese.
Mhm.
We deported people from even the Philippines. I
And-
know families that got deported,
there
and
were-
I'm okay with that.
there were
You did it
people-
wrong.
There were people from Eastern European countries that got deported.
Sure.
What color are they?
Russians got deported.
They're white.
Russia.
So, I mean, what you're saying is just talking points that you haven't even checked out.
And you know what? The simplest thing, the low IQ point, is always racist.
Always.
It all goes back to the same
Always,
word,
always.
racist.
And-
when you do not have nothing to say, it's always racist.
Yep.
Well,
I agree
and
with you
again,
100%.
this is what you're stuck on. You're stuck on hatred. You're stuck on racism, and you find it in everything.
Mm-hmm.
I could come out today and say, pick any race. Is the greatest race in the world that it's opposite of mine, and you're going to
It's
say
the
that's
same
racist.
People. It's the same people that said Shadur Sanders didn't get drafted because the owners are racist.
And it had nothing to do with that. Race. The number
Wait,
one
the
draft
number
pick was
one-
same race.
But
was,
you know-
was black. The number 2 draft pick was black. The number 3 draft pick was black. I think the 4th draft pick was black.
But these racist leftists, that's where your racism really lies, because it's hatred and racism in their heart.
I want to agree with what this texter says, and please don't find offense to those of you who are of color and you're listening. This texter said, "Yep, and it's not even the black folks; it's the ghetto black folks." And I don't
is.
like the word ghetto being used to describe a race, but you have your people
But I
of
don't-
color, black people, Mexicans, who have been educated.
But there
who
are
have-
white people in the ghetto too.
Correct. You just
And-
have
and
people
they are
that fall
all-
into that
Yes.
idiotic category of just believing that that's what it is. So it's not necessarily black people. It's just people who have failed to educate
Let me
themselves.
tell you who are the
ghetto
biggest.
is probably right because it covers all races who are in that
in that, yeah.
in that group.
These individuals that are woke white women.
They're the worst.
White women. That, yeah, white women. You
Listen.
know, when we look at Columbia University, would it surprise you that Columbia University has a high amount of transgenders that are enrolled in Columbia University?
No.
11% of Columbia University students identify as trans.
Wow, that's
Would
only,
that surprise you?
That's only 10.7% higher than the population of the United States. Like you said, 11%, and in the United
Yeah.
States, it's like 0.03
Yeah,
or 0.2.
exactly. So with that, all the problems they've had as of late, and these people that are back in Palestine that are transgenders, dude, they would throw you off a building in Palestine.
Yes.
Just saying. Just saying. Crazy.
Okay. We've got a
Continue,
few more.
Monica.
Give me- Okay. I find it hilarious when some liberal a-hole says he doesn't know how to get any more extreme than this. It's like liberals are playing the game of hold my beer when it comes to out extreming each other. And tell me, Jasmine Crockett isn't trying to bring the ghetto into Washington. She's just trash, racist trash.
Well,
like
and
that.
that's all a show because that's not the way she talks.
Right. Right.
That's all.
She's actually very proper.
That's all a show.
You know, there's the correct word, and it's not ghetto or anything like that earlier. It's people, and I don't want to call them trash either, but there's something in that. It's
ignorant.
Yes.
Uneducated.
Yes.
Like they just choose to.
And it comes from economic poverty. It comes from intellectual poverty. It comes from all of those things, to where we shovel people to the side if somebody doesn't think that they have a value, and that's where they grow up, and they get stuck in that.
Right.
And it almost becomes generational.
Yes.
And I'm not blaming anyone who's in that situation, because there's a lot of people that have started in that situation and gotten out of that situation.
Correct. It's funny that we're talking about this, because just Sunday, like not my oldest adult child, but my oldest one that's still in school, Anaya, she has so many questions about being a Democrat, being a Republican. And I was having to explain to her that growing up, I wasn't taught politics. It wasn't talked about in our home. But looking back, I would have thought that my parents were Republican, even though
because that's the values.
Correct. They had Republican values, although they probably in that time may
They
have
voted Democrat,
for a Democrat.
probably,
Yeah.
because
But it switched so bad.
Well, it didn't really. What happened was the Democrats tried to mask who they were, and LBJ famously said that he will re-enslave the black population to be Democrats. You got to remember, the KKK was all Democrats.
Yeah.
That was the biggest racist ever.
Yes. You're
Johnson.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
You know, and when
he hated Mexicans, and he hated black folks.
And if you go, like, who was it that was it Hillsdale that did this? There was some group that went out and they did a poll, and they sent a black woman out to do it. And she asked about the KKK to other people of color. And almost all of them thought it was Republicans.
Sure.
And she's like, no, the Republican, and she would show them. The Democrats, every single Democrat was a supporter of the Ku Klux Klan, and the Republican Party is the party that freed the slaves and fought against the KKK.
Yeah, you're right.
And when they learned that, their eyes were opened.
Oh, and yeah, I've seen multiple things where they do that, and they were like, "What?"
Yep, this texter hit the nail on the head. It all starts at your home.
It does.
You're right.
It does.
That
Yeah.
is exactly right. Teach your kids now the difference. Okay, we've got a few more, and then we'll be done. 53.5% of NFL players are African American. How are the owners racist? Didn't Biden deport more than Trump and Obama? Where were these people then? And no matter how hard you try, you can't fix stupid. A to the man. My pastor says that all the time.
Amen.
All right, we're done with text.
All right, Scott Bassett tells CNBC that he thinks China is now serious about cracking down on fentanyl flow to America. He said that's some of the things that they talked about over the weekend was all the fentanyl that is flowing in. I don't know if China doesn't care about America.
No.
All they care about is the almighty dollar. That's all that they care about is the dollar. And China, I think when you hit China in the pocket, that's the way you beat China, is by defeating them, by hitting them in the pocketbook. My older brother posted something just a second ago talking about tariffs, and now I can't find it. But he was saying, look, China has a problem with unemployment in that country, and their economy can't handle reduction when it comes to America not buying their products. We're better off than they are. We're in a better situation than they are.
Right.
So don't be fooled. He said China is also paying for tariffs, and there is a large reduction in demand of their cheap goods. Their economy can't take a large reduction in demand due to high prices, and it will kill their economy and force them to reduce their tariffs. So he said China is not in a great situation as we speak.
I've said
Russia
that.
is
They're-
not in a good
well,
situation.
I've said that. China's whole economy is based on exporting goods.
Right. And when
They
those
can't-
ships aren't going out,
No.
that's a problem.
They cannot.
Yeah.
They cannot be self-sufficient. The United
they can't.
States can be self-sufficient.
Yeah. Sean Spicer. Now, Sean Spicer, was he Obama's information director?
I never heard that name.
He was. Yeah, I guess.
trying to
it
think.
was Obama the first term.
Anyway, Sean Spicer, who was is a former press secretary, I think for Obama, on Monday called for the Democratic Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman to resign and seek medical treatment. Look, they're trying to off. When I say off, I'm not saying they're trying to kill him, but they're trying to make him
he
step
was-
down.
He was actually under Donald Trump in 2017.
Was he?
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking he's a Democrat.
But it was.
But
it was only in 2017.
Yeah. Anyway, he's saying that recent interviews with Fetterman, and he said Fetterman needs to go get help. Now, if you remember John Fetterman, before he had a nervous breakdown, right after he got elected, then he went into the hospital and got shock treatment. And when he came back out, he was sharper, and he actually
Common sense.
he had common sense. Well, they're saying he's got some issues.
Well-
So we'll see if this guy is stepping down. I haven't seen any. Have you seen anything that Fetterman has said or done?
No.
I mean, the only thing that I have seen that he voted to confirm Pam Bondi.
Well,
and he
and he-
co-sponsored the Laken Riley Act.
Right, and they don't like that. They can't
No.
have that. You know, Chuck
So-
Schumer's like, no.
Wow. All right, we're going to talk about hemp in New Mexico coming up next. Chris Murphy, senator, talking about Donald Trump and his trip to the Middle East. Listen to this. And I encourage him, if he's got information, why aren't you taking that information to the FBI? Listen to what Senator Chris Murphy had to say.
To the Gulf in order to collect tribute. What's happening here is an extraordinary level of corruption. We shouldn't pretend this is business as usual. What the president is doing is giving countries like Saudi Arabia and UAE what they want. For Saudi Arabia, it's a civilian nuclear deal with the United States. For the UAE, it is taking some of the restrictions off of the way that semiconductors flow into that country. And in exchange, Trump is not asking for any benefit to the American people. He's not asking for any movement towards peace in the region. He's asking for cash. He's asking for cash payments. UAE is giving him that through this deal on cryptocurrency, in which they are paying, doing a big deal through Trump Crypto. And of course, we just found out this weekend that Qatar is going to be giving Donald Trump a plane, apparently personally.
Not personally. Giving it to the State Department. It's a big difference.
The
between-
Department of Defense.
Yeah. So if any of this is true, please take it to the FBI. Well, you don't even have to do that, Chris. All you have to do is do what you did before and file for a Senate investigation.
Yep.
So if any of this is true, but something tells me that none of it is true.
Right.
None of it. All right, we're going to get to things that happened on this date in history morning show this morning. Being brought to you by go ahead.
Before you do that, what they do is like what he's doing right here. They throw those
Planting
lies
seeds.
out there. They just go ahead and lie. And then if they need to say they're sorry, it will be very quiet and very not public.
Yeah. Yeah. So what they're doing is planting seeds so people like the liberals that send text messages out,
right,
just giving them a little ammo.
Yes.
And then they can go cut and paste that
Yeah.
and send it back into us.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what
Lies.
they're doing. All right, 7:53 morning show this morning being brought to you by Maine Trailer Sales. Don't go camping without Maine Trailer Sales. Passport, Durango, They've got they've got all the big names like Cougar. Plus, if you go to the website, you can find out all the information on all the new items that are coming in. Go to the website, maintrailersalesinc.com. They've got new units coming in every week, and new and pre-owned. All the units are up on that website. You can take the virtual tour or call David this morning at 575-622-1751. 70-plus years in business. They offer great deals and great customer service after the deal is done. MainTrailerSalesInc.com. Check them out today. Well, it looks like a committee moves to forward with regulations and the hemp products in Albuquerque. City of Albuquerque stepped forward in cracking down on a legal loophole in the cannabis industry. Larry Barker first exposed the problem about the cannabis products being identified as hemp, allowing them to be sold anywhere, at convenience stores, at gas stations, not just at dispensaries. So right now, the city is considering a bill which would, now, do cities pass bills?
Yes.
I thought city,
technically. It's ordinance.
Technically, okay.
It's an ordinance. A bill and an ordinance are the same thing.
Right. So anyway, that would regulate these products that they believe selling hemp at gas stations. Now, for the record, hemp has a very low percentage of THC.
Correct.
Very low. I'm talking about like a 0.5% of
Right.
THC.
Right. But it's
Not-
very
not a whole
good for to making material out of, like sails
Oh,
and rope
very good.
and all that stuff.
Yeah, very, very good. Federal judge yesterday gave Donald Trump another win yesterday. Federal judge allowing the IRS to share illegal aliens' data with DHS in court.
Yep.
Yesterday, they said that they would allow that. So the injunction request to prevent the Department of Homeland Security and the IRS from partnering to permit the U.S. Customs and Enforcement Agency, ICE, to access taxpayer information was overruled yesterday. So a judge stepped in and said, no, I believe that's smart.
Right.
And shouldn't our government be sharing
Yes.
information with other departments?
Yes.
That's
Both
that's
good
smart.
and bad. Both good and bad.
Yeah. Amen. Looks like New Mexico. Did we make the list of the best and worst place to start a career? Wallet Hub did the survey.
Sort of.
So Albuquerque came in at 81. Las Cruces at 148.
Yeah. Would you consider that really being in the top? I wouldn't.
No. So Atlanta, Georgia is actually the number one city to start a career. Orlando, Florida, number 2. Tampa, Florida, number 3. Austin, Texas, number 4. Miami, Florida, number 5. So out of the top 5, Florida has 3.
Wow.
Wow.
Where did like
when it comes to
Dallas and Houston come in at?
I do not see, and I don't have the complete list.
Right. You just have like top 10, right?
Yeah, I got the top 10 and the bottom 10. So bottom 10, Moreno Valley, California, Toledo, Ohio, Newark, New Jersey. But you can get in on a lot of protests there. Shreveport, Louisiana, Detroit, Michigan, Oxnard, California, New York.
They're fleeing.
Made the list in the top 10. High taxes alone would probably kill you there, for sure. All right, number 877-396-W105. When we come back from the next break, we'll talk about lawmakers getting paid. They've been talking about that didn't that get overruled already?
Yes.
But
they're trying.
That didn't go anywhere.
But they're trying.
So they're going to do it again. And Dan Bongino. For the break, we'll talk about Dan Bongino. What he had to say about some of the some of the crackdowns. We'll get to that. 2 minutes away from 8. Monica, anything on the text?
Sure. Critical in Pecos says, I've been a loyal listener for years since Kevin was reading the text, since before Kevin's toe was destroyed by that desk, because him and Russ are weaklings, since Rick Nesbitt was doing the afternoon show, okay? I have listener rights. What the heck is going on with Tom? I have the right to know.
You have what?
He's got listener rights, he said.
No.
Uncle Mike says, for Trump, but I don't know what he was referring to.
By the way, Tom is a mess. Tom is a mess. That's all you need to know. Tom is a damn mess.
Someone
and
else.
Tom has a hard head.
To know. How Tom? Yeah, I mean you can cover it again at the end, but I don't think taking time right now. He's not worth it right now. We're mad at Tom right now. Our Teacher Tom fan said, and B, drug pricing problems begin with insurance. Then they get in bed with the drug companies.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. The Socialist Party.
Look, I've battled the insurance companies about surgeries and all kind of other stuff. You know, the doctor says you need a surgery, and then the insurance company says, no, you don't. So you ask the adjuster, where did you get your medical degree?
Right.
Well, I'm not a doctor.
Right.
Well, the doctor says I need it.
Oh.
But we won't pay for it.
Uncle Mike said Sean Spicer was for Trump.
Yes. That's what I was saying in 2017.
Chase says, what kind of career? I don't know what Chase was referring to. And what would happen if
Well,
Fetterman...
they just start a career. I mean, it's...
any career.
What would happen if Fetterman switched to Republican Party? How would voting work? Says this, or asks a texter. Maybe it's time for Fetterman
he could
to
vote
switch
Republican.
parties. Yep, that's what they said.
Well, and he's in Pennsylvania. And do you remember, didn't Trump carry Pennsylvania this time?
Yes, and he beat Dr. Oz in that election, who ran on the Republican ticket.
Right.
Last one. Mike from Edgewood said the Socialist Party, a.k.a. Democrats, don't like the fact that Fetterman isn't towing the party line. He's actually thinking for himself and not letting the party think for him.
Amen.
Yeah, being that big, you better be able to think for yourself, guy. Okay, bye. That's it.
So I was just looking to see Trump won Pennsylvania by a couple percentage points, which, by the way, that's over the years, Pennsylvania has been a Democratic stronghold. So Trump carried Pennsylvania. So Fetterman could change to the Republican Party. And look, the governor can't take Fetterman's seat away.
No.
The Democrats can't take Fetterman's seat away.
Nope.
Look at Harry Reid. He's had 18 strokes and still there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't force him out.
Well,
crazy.
But the Democrats think they can do anything.
Well, they do. Look at what they're doing with the young. And look, I'm not a fan of the assistant chairman to the DNC.
No, but they're forcing him
what's
out.
his name? Hogue. They're pushing him out.
Yeah.
Hogg. They're pushing him out.
Yeah. Because they don't like
Because he told the truth.
Yep. Well,
Crazy.
At least in one instance.
Yeah, well, in one. FBI director. Well, he's the deputy director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, saying, shared a lot of details on Saturday about things that they're working on and saying that they continue to work with ICE to find illegal aliens that are preying on U.S. citizens. He said, through the days, there have been a number of those individuals. They're also looking at the Epstein files, and they are definitely going after child predators, some of the things that they are working on. Of course, also the JFK files have been released, so some of the things that they have been going over. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about New Mexico is the only state in the country that doesn't pay a salary to lawmakers. Is that correct? We're the only state?
No, I don't think we're the only one. I think we're like one of a few. But yeah. But we
sound right.
We give them per diems and stipends and stuff like that. We just don't pay a salary.
Yeah. Right. And we'll also talk about a Massachusetts councilwoman incites a mob standing up for an illegal alien. We'll get to that story coming up this morning. An Ector County jury sentenced a guy to 113 years in jail. 113 years in jail. Quick check of the weather this morning being brought to you by Rig Outfitters and the Broadmoor Mall in Hobbs. They've got a huge selection of FR everything, plus a $99 boot selection. They've got safety gear, hard hats, steel-toe boots, plus furniture, appliances, and electronics with zero down financing. RigOutfitters.com for more information. You can also check Scrub Outfitters. They're right next door. Scrub Outfitters has the largest selection of medical scrubs in 100 miles. Healing Hands, Dickies, Met Couture, Peaches. Check them out today in the Broadmoor Mall and follow them on Facebook if you would. Weather for the day, calling for a chance of wind all day today. Southeast New Mexico, we've got a chance of high wind throughout the day. It's not going to be nice this afternoon. We're talking about 40-mile-an-hour winds expected this afternoon. 95 for the high today. 40-mile-an-hour winds expected tonight, and 40-mile-an-hour winds expected tomorrow. And Ruidoso, wind advisory and a red flag warning in effect all day today. High temperature getting up to 76. 50-mile-an-hour winds today, 45-mile-an-hour winds tonight, and 55-mile-an-hour winds tomorrow. And in Albuquerque, red flag warning in effect, 88 for the high, and 40-mile-an-hour winds expected today, 35-mile-an-hour winds tonight, and 35-mile-an-hour winds tomorrow. Keep up with the forecast. All you got to do is go to W105radio.com. Let's get to things that happened on this date in history, being brought to you by 2A Tactical Firearms Indoor Firing Range, 236 East Navajo in Hobbs, veteran-owned and operated, the largest selection of firearms, state-of-the-art indoor firing range. They've got 1,000 different scenarios with that Milo FBI training simulator. Pay by the month or pay by the hour. They've got optics, suppressors, accessories, tactical gear, safes, financing for your guns. And they do offer gun training, one-on-one gun training for safety, firearm safety training, or a group setting. 7 days a week they're open. 236 East Navajo in Hobbs, 2atacticalrange.com. See them today. Proud sponsor of things that happen on this date in history.
And we didn't set the music, so I hope you got some of these. It was on the date in 1607 the settlement of Jamestown began. And on this day in 1846, the U.S. declared war on Mexico.
Oh, wow.
In 1864, the first soldier was buried at Arlington Cemetery. He was a Confederate prisoner of war who died at a local hospital. So they buried him on the grounds of the estate of Robert E. Lee that was being used as the Union headquarters to make sure that Lee would never live there again.
Wow.
And in 1917, 3 peasant children near Fatima, Portugal, reported seeing a vision of the Virgin Mary for the first time. I guess she was there on spring break. And on this day in 1918, the first airmail
she
stamps
showed up on
were sold.
toast or in a tree or on a window.
Yeah, just a vision. It was the drugs. In 1930, a giant hailstone killed a guy near Lubbock.
Oh, wow.
Like he was, I guess, outside and go, hey, look at that. And one hit him. And on this date in 1940, Igor Sikorsky flew the very first helicopter.
Oh, wow.
One of my favorite helicopters is a Sikorsky. There's the ones with the big nose on the front.
Okay.
Also, it was on this date in 1940. In his first speech as Prime Minister of England, Winston Churchill told the House of Commons, I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat.
Aw.
That's where the band Blood, Sweat, and Tears got their name from.
Oh, how neat.
And in 1958, Vice President Richard Nixon, his limo was battered by rocks thrown by anti-U.S. demonstrators in Venezuela.
Wow.
Not much has changed. They don't like America. Communists just don't. Today is National Crouton Day, National Leprechaun Day, National Fruit Cocktail Day, National Apple Pie Day, National Frog Jumping Day. It's 10 days to Memorial Day weekend. Still, we don't know what party we're going to. Somebody needs to invite us. And it's 33 days until Father's Day. Today's birthdays, Kevin. Morgan Wallen turns 32, or Wallen, I guess.
And I'm gone 3 seats to the wind. Just thinking about all I've wasted on you. All of this time.
He likes throwing chairs off of roofs.
He does.
Yeah. He's very popular.
Robert Pattinson turns 39 today. Yeah, he's only 39, but he's still in his twilight years.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
from Twilight.
He went from Twilight to Batman.
Gotcha.
Actually, the Batman wasn't a bad movie. If you have HBO Max, check it out. It's not too bad. Lena Dunham turns 39 today. She's the often naked creator of Girls. Buckethead is 56 today, Kevin. Do you have him?
Buckethead.
Mm-hmm. He's a guitar player.
No, I did not.
He's known for wearing a KFC bucket on his head, and you've pretty much only heard of him because he was in Guns N' Roses from 2000 to 2004.
Yeah, short term.
Yeah. His real name is Brian Patrick Carroll. Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish celebrates number 59 today.
I got you covered. I do.
Me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey.
God bless. I could have thrown in Hootie and the Blowfish.
You could have, but it's okay. He only wants to be with you. The Late Show.
I hope not.
That's a good one.
Host Stephen Colbert celebrates number 61 today.
I like that.
Dennis Rodman is celebrating his number 64 on this planet.
Dang, he's as old as Tommy. Tommy, if you're listening.
On this planet.
Kim Jong-un just sent a message to him. Come on over.
Happy birthday, Rodman, on the planet Earth. The great Stevie Wonder celebrates birthday number 75 today. Love that song. Magic Dick is 80 today.
What?
Do you got him?
What did you say?
Magic Dick is 80 today.
Listen.
Look, he is the Jay Giles Band's superstar harmonica player.
I don't think anybody can call themselves that.
That's his stage name.
Unless they really got it.
His infinitely less cool real name is Richard Solwitz.
By the way, his ex-wife said it came in a box delivered from Adam and Eve.
Harvey Keitel is 86 today. You know, he plays a tough guy in almost every movie he's in. He was in Pulp Fiction, Taxi Driver, and Reservoir Dogs, among a few others. He also did one called Bad Lieutenant, which was, something. Some people who are no longer with us. Musician Richie Valens. Who
All right, quiz for Monica. What was his brother's name?
Oh, gosh, you would ask me. No.
Here,
in the movie? Yes, I've seen the movie.
In real life,
too.
Oh, in real was it Ricky? Wasn't Ricky, because he's Richie. Bob. Right?
Bob. Yes, It was Bob. Yes.
Wow.
I had to think about it.
Here's your other
Blake
trivia.
didn't even know. Blake looked at me.
Here's your other trivia.
Okay.
3 famous musicians he was one of died in that plane crash.
Yes,
Who were the other 2?
Richie
Come on,
Valens.
especially knowing where you live.
Big Bopper.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
No, Buddy Holly survived. No, Buddy Holly went down.
Yes, those 3.
It was
Big
Buddy
Bopper.
Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper.
Now, who survived?
Don't know. The pilot.
He was a country musician.
Don't know.
Waylon Jennings.
Yes. Waylon Jennings was supposed to take that flight.
But he was Richie Valens took his place.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, because he had a cold.
Yep, in 1959. Also, who left us in 1981? Boxing legend Joe Louis. And in 1978, along with a whole bunch of other people that drank the Kool-Aid, Jim Jones.
Yes.
Although there's some debate on whether it was really drinking the Kool-Aid or if it was really grape Flavor-Aid.
Either way, they're not around to tell the story.
And it is where we get the expression drinking the Kool-Aid from.
Kool-Aid. Yeah. I don't like Kool-Aid at all. Never have. I hated when my mom.
There you go, Kevin.
Kool-Aid.
It could have been Tang for all we know. We don't know. It could have been.
So sad.
It could have been. All right, we got a lot of things to get to when we come back. President Trump makes a historic Middle Eastern trip with $1 trillion deal on the line for Americans. Of course, it's for himself, according to the Democrats. It's for himself. So we are selling things in America. We are making deals in America. I'll go through the whole deal when we return. We'll keep you updated with everything going on. KWMW, Maljamar, 105.1 FM, 93.5 KWES, Ruidoso, and KDAZ, AM 700, FM 96.9 in Albuquerque. National Anthem and the Pledge this morning being brought to you by Rebecca Long. Rebecca Long, she is your Farmers Insurance agent, has been now for 40-plus years. Started her business at the age of 19. She could take care of all of your insurance, home, auto, life insurance, commercial insurance. She could take care of all of that. Look, at least once a week, I always like to say, if you're a young couple and don't have life insurance, you're not doing yourself any favors. Talk to Rebecca about life insurance. It's very inexpensive, especially when you're young. Call her, 575-393-2661. Call Rebecca Long today, proud sponsor of the National Anthem and the Pledge.
Good morning. My name is Mia Jensen. Time for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
To honor America and perform our national anthem, entertainment icon Reba McEntire.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last glow, whose broad jumps and bright stars
18 minutes after the hour of 8, large prayer this morning being brought to you by Judah Oil, reminding you that God is in complete control.
Today's verse of the day is from Philippians 4:6-7. Don't worry about anything, but instead pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all He has done. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything that we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus.
This is Ashley with Judah Oil, and I ask that you join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who've trespassed against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
19 minutes after 8, let's get you updated with news this morning being brought to you by Luke Ragsdale. Ragsdale Law Firm, reminding you when accidents happen, it's usually when you least expect them. That's why you need a trusted law firm. Remember the name, RagsdaleLawFirm.com. Ragsdale Law Firm, specializing in car accidents, personal injury, medical malpractice, and oil-fill accidents. Based in Roswell, serving the entire state, they offer free consultations. And don't forget, you never pay until they win your case. Ragsdale Law Firm, 575-208-5300, RagsdaleLawFirm.com for more information. 20 after 8, we're coming right back. We're beyond the Breakfast Club.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. President Trump is in Saudi Arabia meeting with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
I like visiting with you, and we've known each other very well, and I really believe we like each other a lot.
They're talking about economic investments and Middle East regional issues. The president will be addressing a business leaders forum in Riyadh today. South Africa's government denies persecuting white Afrikaners given refugee status by the Trump administration.
59 South Africans arrived on a private charter plane at Dulles International Airport outside Washington, D.C. President Trump fast-tracked their refugee status as his administration has shut down the overall U.S. refugee program, putting the white South Africans ahead of thousands of others who had been undergoing years of vetting and processing.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Kim Kardashian testifies against the men accused of robbing her at gunpoint in Paris in 2016 that she absolutely thought she was going to die that day. America's listening to Fox News.
Hit by hail? Need your roof covered fast? Call Alpha Roofing LLC, your local homegrown roofing company out of Hobbs. Their owners are retired firefighters and insurance adjusters ready to protect your home and help with your insurance claim. They offer emergency tarping services and handle hail damage the right way, keeping your tax dollars and roofing warranties local. Don't trust your roof to out-of-towners. Trust the team that's part of your community. Call 575-942-5696 today. That's 942-5696. And check out Alpha Roofing LLC on Facebook for updates and emergency tips. Alpha Roofing LLC. Local, trusted, ready to serve.
Hi, this is Danny Kirkendall with Guy Chevrolet Company in Artesia. We're celebrating 100 years in business here on the corner of 1st and Main in Artesia, and we invite you to come see us for your new Chevy, GMC, or a just perfect pre-owned vehicle. Our GM certified team is ready to assist you, so give us a call at 575-746-3551 or visit us online at guychevy.com.
Guy Chevrolet, celebrating 100 years at the corner of 1st and Main in downtown Artesia.
If you, your business, or your organization is needing a venue or facility to host a meeting, convention, party, or other special event, don't cram everyone into your tiny little office. Call the Lee County Event Center. You don't have to fill up the main floor. The Event Center has many other smaller rooms that are perfect for meetings, seminars, parties, and other special events. The Lee County Event Center, seating for 25 or 2,500, 5101 North Lovington Highway in Hobbs. Call 575-391-2100 or visit LeeCountyEvents.com.
National Furniture Liquidators Power Buy. Exceptional value and quality at the best price. 5-piece queen bedroom and exceptional buy at just $498. Section National with storage space and pull-out bed, just $5.99. 7-piece dining room, unheard of at just $2.97. Ashley brand reclining sofa or love seat, just $4.86 each piece. Power buys throughout the entire store, plus great financing options regardless of your credit. National Furniture Liquidators when it comes to value, quality, and selection.
Nobody beats
Did you know that when you become employed with Eddy County, you'll be receiving one of the best and most competitive benefits packages in Southeast New Mexico? Eddy County offers great pay, paid vacation, paid sick leave, and holiday pay. In addition, you get para-retirement and for full-time employees, 100% health insurance paid and 60% for your dependents. You can find a list of open positions and apply at New Mexico Workforce Connection or online at eddycounty.org. Eddy County is an equal opportunity employer.
This is Jan at Toyota.
Hi, Jan. Is now a good time to get a new Toyota?
It is. We like to say your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer. Now through June 2nd, we have a great selection of Camrys, Corollas, Tundras, and more.
I'm a pet sitter, and business is way up as people enjoy their new Toyotas.
Right, your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
Toyota, let's go places.
Visit Permian Toyota in Hobbs today. Toyota, let's go places.
Imagine a world where teams wore plain, uninspired uniforms. Functional? Sure. Eye-catching? Hardly. But as times evolved, so did the demand for standout styles. Enter the era of awesome graphics. Located at 523 West Sanger in Hobbs, New Mexico, they revolutionized team and work attire. Their secret? High-quality FR uniforms from renowned brands like Ariat, Lapco, Byrne, and Bulwark, paired with cutting-edge technology for vibrant, multicolored logos. Awesome Graphics bridges the gap, offering both sports and industrial uniforms that don't just fit well, they inspire. From Nike office shirts to Adidas and Oakley designs, they ensure every team and staff look as professional as they perform. They're not just about appearances at Awesome Graphics, they're about empowering teams. So if you're in Southeast New Mexico and need uniforms that speak volumes, the choice is clear. Visit myawesomegraphics.com and discover how they can elevate your team's image. Awesome Graphics, where style meets performance.
This show is powered by Permian Ford. Stop by and see Daniel Velez today. Be in the Breakfast Club, harassing the world courtesy of a bad childhood.
Take the children and get them out of here.
Call or text now, 877-396-W105 to talk to Be in the Breakfast Club.
What I say is what I say.
This is not headline news. A Kansas man was arrested for biting a dog and fighting with cops while naked. Looks like we have a front runner for this year's Florida Man Games. The Cannes Film Festival is banning nudity and see-through clothing on the red carpet. Pretty much their way of making sure Kanye and his wife don't show up. The 2025 NFL season will open with Philadelphia hosting Dallas. The post-game will feature Dallas fans saying, "Don't worry, it's just one game." And a new study revealed that chimpanzees drum with rhythm when they bang on tree trunks. However, their lyrics are often cliché and repetitive. This is not headline news.
Another day, another 55 cent. Here we are on the Tuesday, 8/26, Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max. User recently dropped the device skydiving 14,000 feet, only to find it in perfect working condition on the ground. This guy, he had cloud access, evidently. It was a different type of cloud. 14,000 feet.
Okay.
By the way, you can thank a 14-year-old for making that iPhone in China. Well, maybe not 14, maybe 9, or maybe 6. How old are the kids making the iPhones? 6, 7,
8,
8.
Yeah,
maybe 14.
They might have been there for a long time and eligible for retirement at 14.
Yeah, at 14, they were close. Mother and son accepted their master's degrees from TCU together. By the way, they are both going to work at Starbucks, and they'll be writing your name on the cups. Do they still do that at Starbucks?
Yeah, I think they went back to that. They went back to handwriting the name.
Mm-hmm.
There was a story about that, like it was a big deal.
And Junior Alvarado, who rode Sovereignty to victory at the Kentucky Derby earlier this month, fined $62,000 and suspended for overuse of the whip during the race. He used it 8 times during the race. By the way, riders are only allowed to use the whip 6 times. And by the way, if you're in that type of relationship, 8 is excessive.
What's the safe
6.
word? What's the safe word?
Listen,
6.
he
6 is acceptable.
He probably lost count, honestly. And in that moment, like, are you?
Of course.
It would be hard for me to keep count.
I mean, to me, it's a dumb rule.
I agree.
Because you can use the whip or you can't use the whip.
Listen, they would have disqualified my ass because I would have just been.
Yeah, I'd have been
whipping.
like, you got to get going. Come on.
I would have already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been loud because I'd just be
So
whipping.
8 times is excessive, 6 times is acceptable.
Wow.
Wow. What about handcuffs? Yeah, they're handcuffing the guy now. Unbelievable. Looks like a guy with a metal detector roaming in a field in Romania, small village in Romania. Did you have this story?
I said so many jokes.
I know.
Yeah, lots of jokes.
You
So
know,
anyway, the guy with the
certain
metal
Mr.
detector.
Ed-like qualities.
Yeah, yes. Only if it could talk. Found silver coins in Romania with a metal detector, 2,000-year-old coins, 100 of them. And the coins are 2,000 years old. That, correct me if I'm wrong, that would set us back to like the Roman Empire. Second century. Yeah. So I would venture to say those are going to be worth some real dollars. Unlike New Mexico legislators who aren't getting paid real dollars and they're not happy about it. So New Mexico, they say, is the only state, according to KRQE, that doesn't pay a salary to lawmakers, even though some have pushed the change many times. It failed this last session. Candelaria from Mesilla Valley is pushing that again. Pushing it again. And, you know, the only thing I could say in favor of this, they get paid a per diem, but only getting paid a per diem, it kind of limits who can run for that position. And part of the reason we get so many attorneys running for New Mexico legislative positions is that they're the only ones that can get away, are people that own their own business. So maybe if we did pay a salary, maybe we would get different people running for public office. I'm just trying to be devil's advocate. Blake, your thoughts on that?
I think we need to hold our legislators to a higher standard, but it was designed to be a volunteer position. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't designed to be a career, right? And so when you go down that path of paying legislators, and I'm okay with the per diem, and I'm okay with, you know, mileage and all that stuff. So paying their expenses when they're there, I understand that. But when you get paid a salary, it becomes your job. And so you give up your real job.
It's really unfair, though, because, you know, the people that live in Santa Fe, they get the same amount as the people that live in Southeast New Mexico. People in Southeast New Mexico are having to rent apartments or bring their RV and park it somewhere. So their expenses are a lot more than the people that are coming from Santa Fe or Albuquerque. If you live in Albuquerque.
And I agree that if you have to get a hotel or an apartment or anything like that, that your per diem should be whatever it is that covers that. And if you actually live there, then you shouldn't get that per diem because it doesn't cost you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally good with covering any expenses for our legislators.
So I'm looking to see what Texas.
They pay.
Yeah,
They
they
have a
pay,
salary.
but it's
not a big salary, but they have a salary. I forget what my granddad
this,
said. That
this says this does makes no. Total compensation is about that. Now this includes a per diem, about $38,000 a year. That's not a whole bunch of money.
No, because the salary is something like the salary is like 20,000. It's not very much.
Right. Yeah.
But you got to also remember, I think the base is somewhere like 9 or 8 or something like that. There's a base
look,
for
if
rookies.
you're in California, you're getting paid $128,000.
But the Texas legislature is different too. You got to remember, they only meet every other year. They meet in odd years.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
they don't meet every single year.
Yeah, California gets paid $128,000 a year, and then per diem $214 per day. So it comes out to be about $150,000, which is if you're making $150,000 in California, it's like making minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, because the cost of living in California is so high.
Now, I just looked on this. I just typed this in and look, and it says that the median salary for the House of Representatives in Texas is $42,000.
Okay.
Now that's the median, and it depends on how long you've been there, and it depends on your
That's
leadership
still not a lot of
position
money.
and that kind of stuff. Well, it's not designed to be your career. They
Yeah.
want legislators to still have their real job outside of government.
Sure.
Because that's,
But some people can't take away from their real job.
Well, that's true.
That there lies the problem. So,
but then politics should not be a profession. The people in Washington, D.C. should have real jobs that they have to come back to. It shouldn't be a profession.
Well, let's fire them all today.
Our
I'm
founding
good with
fathers
that.
designed it that way. They wanted you to come and serve and then go home.
Go home. Man, that's why term limits are so important.
Yes.
Councilwoman incites a mob, assaults officers, and stops the arrest of an illegal alien they were trying to arrest. So police are calling for an official investigation and charges against this city councilwoman for allegedly assaulting officers, inciting a violent mob, and then trying to stop them from arresting an illegal alien in Massachusetts. So this woman is a charm. She really is. Unbelievable. And she had bystanders chanting, "No warrant. No warrant." So I'm going to see if I can find this and put it up on the TikTok, and you can go check it out at The Real Kevin B. Ector County jury sentences a man in Texas to 113 years in prison.
Oh, wow.
113 years in prison, and for sexually assaulting 2 children under the age of 10. Weldon Nealon sexually assaulted 2 children multiple times. 113 years in prison. Continuous sexual abuse. If this case was in New Mexico, how long would this guy be locked up?
3 years.
Yeah.
3 years. That's what I was thinking. Like 3 years. All right, Monica, we're going to check the text. Morning show this morning being brought to you by Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply. 1105 East 2nd and Roswell Farm and Ranch Supplies, Western Wear. They've got everything for your farm and ranch. Purina, certified dealer for all your animals. They have trailers, tank, tag, fencing materials. They've got a full-service hardware department. 1105 East 2nd in Roswell, online at roswelllivestock.com. Monica?
Smokey in Arizona said, Blake, I've learned over the years that the Democrats are stuck on stupid and passed out on dumb.
Amen.
Amen. I like that. I'm going to steal that. I mean, if they want Fetterman out, why don't y'all use their own tactics against him using their DEI programs? I'm pretty sure that would be fun for the Democratic Party. Kevin, you sound like shite. Hope all is well, said Jesse James.
I feel like shite.
Dale said,
I feel like shite.
What is going on with the price gouging in Lubbock, Texas? My wife and I tried to get a motel room for the night of May 15th for one night. I was told UMC graduation is that weekend. I compared prices between Thursday the 15th and Thursday the 22nd. Motel, $515, $522. La Quinta, $365. My Place, $261. Embassy, $557. Oh my god!
I think you already answered it. It's because of the
supply
graduation.
and demand.
Yep.
It goes on.
Yeah,
and
they
on.
do the same
Good
thing
deal.
for Tech football games.
They do.
Yeah. All right. And John from Eunice said, communists don't like America. Well, doesn't that explain the left?
Yep.
He can play with the likes of Joe Satriani. Satriani. Check out his song, Soothsayer, on YouTube. It is amazing. Mark from Roswell said, Bobo, yes. Big Trucker C, I want to know what kind of case he's got on that phone. And the safe word is flour with a W, not flour as in baking. That editor chick said, it's super annoying as a biracial person of a small minority, less than 3% of the population, for all of these loud liberals to be speaking on my/our behalf. We're loud enough on our own. Just shut up and listen. That's more helpful than yelling over us as a whole. We don't need advocates and saviors. The sad part is having to, quotations, use identity politics to get these people's damn attention. Oh, I
agree.
Ding, 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 ding,
100%.
ding. And Kevin's safe word, she went on to say, is gumbo.
It could be. It could be.
Jody from Lovington said the safe word is
Flugel. It's Buddha.
Alejandro from Artesia here on the quarter horse, they have that rule too. Okay.
The whipping?
Yeah.
Well,
And
then
they-
why let them whip at all? You know, it's kind of like saying it's okay to beat your wife, but you can only hit her 5 times.
Oh, I love Machina. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, just with an open hand, right?
Yeah,
Is
right.
that
That's
the
okay.
rule?
Yeah.
No, just in Arkansas,
I
I
mean,
think.
why don't you just stop it? Period.
They have to dig that guy up. Libs can't have the first soldier to be buried in Arlington to be Confederate, says the texter. And damn Democrats can't even whip your own damn horse anymore, said Gary from the Patch. Per diem is set up by the IRS and varies depending on the cost of living in your area. Southeastern New Mexico got a cut last year. And the hotel gouging is stop what needs to stop.
And Kevin,
Harley, cowboy from the basin, says my safe word is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah, and the way they get away with that, they can increase the price per what events are going on. So I don't think it's deemed. I'm not saying it's right.
Right.
But it's deemed okay
and if
because they go
everyone
up
in
on
the
the
area-
rate on the weekend, too.
Yep. If everyone does it, then it's not really the gouging thing.
All right,
So
we're
that's
going to
it
get
for
to Boop.
Oh, that's it for the text line, but we do have a phone call, B.
All right, let's go to the phone. We'll get to the boob of the day, and then we got to talk about this massive deal in the Middle East. We'll get to that. Morning, how you doing? Where are you calling from this morning?
B, what's really going on? It's Daniel Velos over here at Hobbs America.
Daniel Velas, how are you doing, man?
Hey, what's up?
Doing good, man. Just here, out here at the Supercell offsite over here at Permian Toyota. It's pretty cool. We're combined vehicles, since we're all one company. But we're over here on Grimes Street right now, and it's been pretty cool. Really big sale. A lot of vehicles, over 600 to choose from. So we brought them together for this massive event. A lot of banks are saying yes, and just want to make sure that we get that out there.
I have a question for you, Daniel Velos, whenever I can.
Sure.
Do you guys have like a program or something? I don't know what it's called for like first time buyers? Because my daughter wants to trade in her car.
Oh, there you go.
Exactly. That's exactly what it's called too. First time buyers club.
Really?
And yeah, we have probably about 4 or 5 different banks out of the 30 plus that we probably carry. that participate in that, and they all have their own little, things, steps or whatever, but definitely available for you guys out there. So that's a good question, and it definitely is something that we have. Also, there's also a credit rebuilders plan that we have.
Very good. And you got all kinds of cars too. I mean, you got everything because you're Ford, Toyota, Nissan, Chevy. You got everything over there, right?
How long is this?
Oh my God. Yeah. And great question again, and I'm sorry about that. but yes, all the way till Saturday. And honestly, I'm going to tell you, we're thinking of extending this thing because a lot of this mail pieces and stuff didn't get into homes on time. So I just want to let people know also, if they're barely getting it, come and check us out. But if they get it late, don't hesitate to still come over here and check us out, because we might hang out for another 3 to 4 days.
Sure.
So how many cars, Daniel? Did you say 600?
I think if we have the count out, we probably started with over 6, and we're probably down to right around 5, the 5s. You know what I mean? But it's been very successful. We've had a lot of people come and check us out, and a lot of people leave surprised with a new vehicle. Wow. Because what's cool is if there are people that like a used car out here, and they're working on with us at Ford, and they don't get it qualified. Well, our Toyota business partner, their model with Toyota, they can get you done on a lot of things that sometimes other people can't. So,
wow.
They'll give you a good rate on a new Corolla just to take a new Corolla. You know what I mean? Because they don't want you to take a used car. So, and then Ford has the same kind of programs. You might want a Tundra, qualify, and then Ford gets you in a new truck because you're taking a new F-150. They make some exceptions there. So it works out. Wow. It's working out for everybody. We're working as a team. It's a Toyota versus Ford, but it's really Toyota and Ford versus the world right now. So let's go.
Gotcha.
So Daniel, can they go to the Ford?
Big Blue Gorilla out here too.
Well, and you guys moved a lot of cars from the Ford lot, right? Like, because when I stopped by there was a lot of stuff moving back and forth.
Yeah, we brought the Big Blue Gorilla and everything. So we got a tent out here. We got some excitement. We got some music going on all day. We got balloons. We usually have some food going on around here. We got it's been a fun situation. A lot of people, you don't see people grumpy walking around. They're all having fun shopping, looking at cars. We don't mind them walking around the lot and looking at cars and just checking them out. That's what they want to do. So
right.
Definitely come do that if you want to look at some cars. And I mean, we got some of the craziest cars out here that you probably won't just see. It's almost like a car show.
Hey,
we got probably
Daniel, I saw your post.
But go ahead. Huh?
I saw your post on Facebook about that Mustang that you have coming in.
Yeah, I got confused because when I bought these things and I ordered them, these things are like the RTR is like the new Shelby, put it that way. So Shelby's still out there, and they're still making their own supercharged vehicles and stuff like that. But RTR is kind of like that Von Gittin Jr. brand that just came out. That's been out for a while. That's finally getting big traction. And yeah, I got confused, but the first one I ordered was the big boy, the Spec 3, 810 horsepower.
Wow!
And then the second one I ordered it without the supercharger, but it still has all the suspension, all the nice drive, all the lowering kit and everything. Right. And that's going to be a Barbie neon pink car.
Oh,
so
wow.
For the ladies out there that like their Mustangs, come check that out too.
Now, Danny, I just got a text just a second ago, and I know that y'all had one of these, and I don't know if you still do, but they asked about a Corvette, and I know that you had one.
I have a red convertible left. We had 3. Hold on. We have a red convertible left, and then we also have a Z06 red, fire engine red here.
Okay.
And that's a Z06. They're both C8s. So they're both the new body, and they're both available. Yeah, so that the Z06 just dropped. And you know how hard those are to get.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. We have like a car show going on over here. We have a BMW X5 M5 version. I mean, it's so crazy the amount of cars we got here, but also the exotics that we have. We got some 14-inch lift kits on some dualies out here on 33s, man.
Wow.
30-inch wheels. Wow.
So need a ladder.
I mean,
hey,
listen.
Yeah.
I don't
for people
understand
coming,
anything he just said. I just heard Mustang.
For people coming from out of town, what's the address where they can come and check you out, Danny?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know what address this is on Graves Permian Toyota, But I know it's like Grimes and Joe Harvey was what I would say.
Yeah, there you
if
go.
You're coming to Home
There you
Depot.
go.
You can see Home Depot right across in the midst over here, and then also you see our neighbor, our sister store over here, the GMC store. But we're right there. You'll see the big blue gorilla, and you'll check us out. But I want to give a shout out to Mr. Benavides, that is one of your listeners that did use the text line. Remember, text that number, put W105. He said, let's check this out. He had an appointment in Lubbock on a Saturday 2 weeks ago, and he came in and bought.
Wow.
Awesome.
And he came
Very
from
cool.
from Tatum. So shout out to Mr. Benavides and his family in Tatum. We appreciate it, and appreciate you being a listener of Being the Breakfast Club.
Absolutely. We appreciate you
Thank
calling
you
in,
so
Daniel.
much, Danny.
Yep. Thank you guys. I know you guys got a show to do, so appreciate you guys having me just in the middle of everything.
You bet.
Not a problem, bro. Not a problem. Thank you. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Trump targets, the massive investment coming from the Middle East. We'll tell you what that means. How much money invested in the United States? A lot. How many jobs can we count on coming to the United States?
A lot.
I'll give you some answers coming up in just a second. Let's get to the boob of the day, being brought to you by Desert Functional Medicine Aesthetics, medical professionals on staff offering functional medicine, natural supplements, stem cell therapy, ozone therapy. If you're living in pain, they have the answer. And don't forget, they also offer hormonal optimization, testosterone replacement therapy, and many, many things for aesthetics. 3900 North Lovington Highway in Hobbs, 575-964-8025. Desert Functional Medicine and Aesthetics, proud sponsor of the Boob of the Day.
So here's how you waste a perfectly valid excuse to skip work. A 28-year-old Maryland woman is facing charges after she ignored a cop and drove through a street fair on Saturday because she needed to get to work, she said. Her name is Kai Dayberry Bostic. Now, it happened in Laurel, Maryland. That's halfway between Baltimore and Washington, D.C. And cops had the street blocked off with yellow tape. And her BMW was on a side street with no way out. She told the cops she just needed to get through real quick, and he said no. He offered to call her a cab, but she works in Virginia, so it wasn't really a short drive. Now, she eventually got out of her car, tore the police tape, and slowly started driving forward, even though the cop was standing there in front of her car. He had to move so he didn't get run over. People at the fair panicked, thinking she was about to plow through the crowd, but she never drove fast and she didn't get very far. There is chest cam footage of the whole thing. She stopped when a bunch of firefighters stood in her way. Then the cop ripped her out of the car and cuffed her. According to police, the cop suffered minor injuries, but it's not clear how he did that or when because he got out of the way of the vehicle. Now, she was in court yesterday facing multiple charges, including second-degree assault, resisting arrest. But here's where it gets murky. Her lawyer told the judge she had been instructed to park on the side street the night before, and someone said that she would be able to get out to go to work the next morning. Her lawyer said she panicked, thinking she'd get in trouble at work, so she wasn't thinking clearly. He also noted that she was a former honor student with no criminal history and argued a weekend in jail was punishment enough. But the judge disagreed. They said she was more reckless because an officer was hurt. So they didn't even release her on bail. And she's still behind bars with a trial set for July 18th. By the way, she was a cheerleader at Bowie State University, and you can go find her photo online. But you can also find her mugshot because she's the boob of the day.
Boob of the day being brought to you by Desert Functional Medicine and Aesthetics. Good news coming up. We'll also talk about the massive investment from the Middle East, and maybe we'll have time to get to the guy attending a graduation party breaks out the shotgun in Midland. We'll get to that. And McDonald's hiring how many people? I'll get to all of those stories coming up in just a second. Morning show this morning being brought to you by Zia Guns, 1907 North Main in Roswell. They've got a large selection of firearms, over 1,000 firearms in stock, handguns, rifles, shotguns. Looking for personal protection? they've got you covered with lethal and non-lethal personal protection. Ladies, if you're looking for personal protection, go in there and chat with them. Not a problem. Trade in your old gun to get a better gun. And don't forget, they have a large selection of ammo, cleaning supplies. Like I said, they can tune up your bow, and you can find the right gun that you're looking for. 575-622-0023, or stop at 1907 North Main in Roswell. Closed on Saturday, always open on Sunday. We are BN the Breakfast Club. Coming right back.
MTD Radio News, I'm Blake Ovard. A new administrative complex could be coming to Eddy County, but commissioners have yet to determine the project's estimated cost or timeline, potentially ranging from 14 months to 4 years. Eddy County commissioners opted last year to move forward with a proposal to shift both the county's administrative offices and its jail from Carlsbad's downtown area on Green and Main Streets to a location near the Cavern City Air Terminal. Between the jail and administrative offices, the county last year estimated the total cost would be about $350 million. And the Texas House passed a bill on Friday that lets the governor determine if countries whose residents, governments, and other entities could be banned from buying real estate in Texas. Members granted the governor such power when they amended Senate Bill 17, with real estate sales restrictions previously limited to countries designated as national security threats, including China, Iran, North Korea, and Russia. The bill now heads back to the Texas Senate, where the amendments must be approved before the bill can be sent to the governor. And the Limiting Incredulous Zealots Against Restricting Drilling Act, or LIZARD, of 2025 was introduced April 2nd and would undo the federal endangered species status of the Dunes sagebrush lizard, a species that dwells in the sand dunes of southeast New Mexico and West Texas, amid the nation's busiest oil and gas fields. Advocates for conserving the lizard argued its primary threat lies in the mining for sand used in the fracking process. The status of the Dunes sagebrush lizard has sparked many debates for years, but it was listed as endangered under former Democrat President Joe Biden in a move that was seen as part of a wider 30 by 30 plan. And that's the way it is. I'm Blake Ovard. This is MTD Radio News.
Imagine a world where teams wore plain, uninspired uniforms. Functional? Sure. Eye-catching? Hardly. But as times evolved, so did the demand for standout styles. Entered the era of awesome graphics. Located at 523 West Sanger in Hobbs, New Mexico, they revolutionized team and work attire. Their secret? High-quality FR uniforms from renowned brands like Ariat, Lapco, Byrne, and Bulwark, paired with cutting-edge technology for vibrant, multicolored logos. Awesome Graphics bridges the gap, offering both sports and industrial uniforms that don't just fit well, they inspire. From Nike office shirts to Adidas and Oakley designs, they ensure every team and staff look as professional as they perform. They're not just about appearances at Awesome Graphics, they're about empowering teams. So if you're in Southeast New Mexico and need uniforms that speak volumes, the choice is clear. Visit myawesomegraphics.com and discover how they can elevate your team's image. Awesome Graphics, where style meets performance.
Spring has sprung and the school year is flying by. Looking to plan the perfect end-of-year school party? The Core has everything you need for a fun and affordable celebration. We're still accepting reservations for parties for select dates from April 14th through May 16th. Choose from great options like day passes, private splash parties, full gym and turf rentals with a variety of activities, Ninja Warrior course, archery tag, and the Core Play Playground. Spots are filling up fast, so book your party today. Contact Jared De La Cruz at 575-397-6902 or email jdelacruz@hobbsnm.org for more details. Make this year's celebrations unforgettable from the Core and your city of Hobbs.
This is right where
Gary Allen is headed to Inn of the Mountain Gods May 23rd. Catch the country legend and all his biggest hits live in concert.
Nothing on but the radio.
Tickets on sale now for Gary Allen May 23rd. Visit inofthemountaingods.com or Ticketmaster.com. Minors must be accompanied by an adult.
The City of Hobbs is now hiring for summer seasonal positions. If you're 16 years or older, this is your chance to join a great team. Apply online today at hobbsnm.org or call 575-397-8071 or 575-397-9230 for more info. Get ready for a fun, rewarding summer experience in your own community. It all happens here in Hobbs, so come be a part of a great team for the summer with your City of Hobbs. The City of Hobbs is an equal opportunity employer and a drug and smoke-free workplace.
This week at Bob's Ridgeway, they say Happy Mother's Day with big values. Select New York strip steak, $7.99 a pound. Pork spare ribs, $2.49 a pound. Get large mangoes, 99 cents each. And for that special dessert, red ripe strawberries, $1.77 a pound. Get those little dessert cups. Get 2 6-packs for $4 and a big can of whipped cream for $1.98. Pillsbury Grand Biscuits, 2 cans for $5. And get the Pillsbury Cake Mixes, 5 boxes for $5. Craven flavored ice cream this week, gallon pail, $5.98. And get your Charmin Essentials bathroom tissues, big 12 mega roll pack for just $9.98. Big values, great service in your hometown grocer. Bob's Ridgeway. For 50 years, where your grocery dollars always gone farther.
This show is powered by Permian Ford. Stop by and see Daniel Vellis today.
Bean and the Breakfast Club in the morning. Wake up, hey Susie, wake up.
Tom A. was addicted to the hokey pokey, but thankfully he turned himself around.
Call now, 877-396-W105. Call now.
8:59. Good news on the way. Morning show this morning being brought to you by Atlas Makeup Mirror and Grooming Tool. They have extended the 25% off. How long is this going to be going on, Blake?
Till the end of the month. Because not
Till
only
the end of the month.
if you are late and you still need to score some makeup points for Mother's Day,
For being
she has you covered.
Yeah.
If you need a good graduation gift, Rebecca has you covered. Just W105.
25% off.
Yeah.
All you got to use is the code W105. You already listen here every day. It's easy to remember.
So, yeah, go check them out, atlasmakeupmirror.com. And this is perfect. I mean, graduation gift.
Gosh.
I mean,
that's
it
a
weighs
good
4 pounds. They can take it anywhere. Comes in a traveling case. It has LED lights because we know if they're moving into a dormitory, yeah, the lighting in a dormitory is terrible.
Oh, it's horrible.
So they got you taken care of. Give Rebecca a call, 575-631-3189. They also have pocket mirrors, small pocket mirror, $29.99. Bigger pocket mirror is $39.99. Check them out, atlasmakeupmirror.com. Blake, I'm going to play this cut.
Okay.
This is the UK Prime Minister. He's talking about immigration.
Okay.
He's saying they need to roll back immigration. He said because they have immigrants in his country that do not want to learn the English language.
Oh.
They've got immigrants in his country that are pushing for other laws, like maybe Sharia law.
That's true.
Yeah. Listen to what he had to say. He said, one day we're going to wake up. We're not going to recognize where we're living.
Whoa.
To each other. Now, in a diverse nation like ours, and I celebrate that, these rules become even more important. Without them, we risk becoming an island of strangers, not a nation that walks forward together. So when you have an immigration system that seems almost designed to permit abuse, that encourages some businesses to bring in lower paid workers rather than invest in our young people, or simply one that is sold by politicians to the British people on an entirely false premise, then you're not championing growth. You're not championing justice, or however else people defend the status quo. You're actually contributing to the forces that are slowly pulling our country apart.
That kind of sounds like America.
He is spot on.
Wow.
Spot on.
Kind of sounds just like America. Unbelievable. All right, I'm sure the Democrats are going to be complaining today.
Oh, yeah.
Donald Trump goes to the Middle East. He's got a deal with the Middle East. Nobody's ever asked the Middle East for money. Nobody has ever asked, hey, why don't you invest in America? Huh? Donald Trump embarks in to a week-long high stakes Persian Gulf, where he's making business deals. He's looking for strategic partners with the 3 oil-rich countries. Those would be Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates. So today, he's in Saudi. He makes a deal with them. Saudi Arabia has already pledged $600 billion in U.S. investments, spanning from weapons purchases to technology transfers to artificial intelligence to the stock market. Trump said today that he believes ultimately that they will invest more than $1 trillion in America.
Wow.
While the Saudis are aimed to diversify their economy away from oil and gas.
Because
massive investments
and that's
still depend on oil.
That's because oil is such a big thing.
Right.
And they fluctuate with the oil markets just like we do here in Southeast New Mexico.
Exactly. So he got to meet with the world leaders today. And if you didn't see the line of people that he was meeting with, the people that were lining up to talk to him and the sheikh, unbelievable. The people that were lining up to talk to the president, he says that the UAE, United Arab Emirates, have promised to invest $1.4 trillion in the United States.
Wow.
All these countries want to talk about AI and semiconductors.
Yep, manufacturing.
If we could take that money away from the Chinese, that is a win-win-win. It really is.
Well, if you
pretty cool.
If you remember, Joe Biden put in restrictions on that. If you remember, so that UAE and those countries almost were forced to deal more with China than the U.S. So.
Look, China has aligned themselves with Russia. We do need allies. And in this case, we need allies. Saudi and, Qatar and Dubai, man, they've got more money than we can. I mean, my brother lived in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and he said people would run out of gas on the highways and leave like a Mercedes just sitting there on the highway.
Oh, wow.
And they wouldn't even come back and get it.
That's wild.
Because they're so rich, they don't know what to. I mean, think about it. Kuwait is one of it's not as wealthy as those 3 that I just talked about.
No.
And every citizen in Kuwait gets $100,000 a year?
Yeah, they get a lot.
That's
but
the
it's a tiny
lowest
country,
amount they get.
To be honest, it's a tiny country.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they get like $100,000 a year just to play. Crazy. All right, we're going to get to good news of the day coming up in just a second. We'll check the text. Man behind bars after he allegedly pointed a shotgun at a group of people enjoying a graduation party Saturday night in Midland. Wholesome town that Tom always talks about, Midland. And this guy is about 11:21 p.m. And Joshua Taba is 40 years old and pointing the gun at people.
Not smart.
Not smart. By the way, police made verbal commands for him to put down the weapon. At least he listened to that. You cannot grab a shotgun and go outside and point it at people unless your life is in danger.
Right.
By the way, there are kids at the party. There are young children at the party. And I get it. It's 11:20 at night. You probably wanted them to turn down the music. I get it. But a graduation party happens once in how many years?
18 years.
You know what? You probably could have got invited to the party. Just saying. Maybe they had some barbecue and a cold beer waiting for you. But instead, you're in jail now. McDonald's launching a major summer hiring drive. They are trying to recruit 375,000 workers to their 13,500 locations across the United States. Some of these are part-time. Some of them are full-time. That's a lot of employees.
Yeah.
375,000. And any of those employees hired in Southeast New Mexico, please don't fear if a guy drives through the drive-through with no shirt on. He's actually a guy. I'm just saying, don't fear. And Gavin Newsom in California saying he is done with the homeless situation. You know how much money they spent on the homeless?
How much?
Billions. $3.3 billion.
Oh my
Proposition 1. They bought campers, built mini houses, did all kinds of stuff. Well, Gavin Newsom says it's not gotten any better. And he's done. He's finished. Newsom unveils an aggressive plan to clear homeless encampments. Supposedly, there's 16,000 homeless encampments in California. Do you know that a third of all the homeless people live in California?
Wow.
Maybe it's more than that. For some reason, I'm thinking it's a third. A third of the entire homeless population in America live in California. And Al Sharpton disapproves of the South African refugees fleeing black violence. Al Sharpton's not happy. My throat didn't hurt this bad. I'd do my Al Sharpton. Yeah, I would.
Impersonation.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm barely surviving this morning. So anyway, he is very upset. Look, these people are fearing for their lives. They are fleeing. They're taking what they have on their backs and fleeing. That's what the amnesty program is about. I thought you guys would embrace that, the refugees.
Sure.
Wow. Now they're complaining about the free phones. Now they're complaining about housing. For 4 years, you guys said nothing when 20 million people came across the border. You said zero. Unbelievable. And Newt Gingrich previewing big step, saying the Trump boom is going to reshape this economy. Former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. You would think he would know a couple things about the economy and the way Washington, D.C. works, saying what's going on right now is going to change this economy. It's going to be like a 360 boom for the economy. Newt Gingrich, he was the Speaker of the House, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, he was.
He said rolling back regulatory and cutting spending, increasing tax cuts, and then that combined with tariffs, it's going to be a huge win for the working taxpayers. So wait for it. The boom, he says, is coming. Monica in the text, it's already 9:12.
Ernie from Monument said, "Oh crap, no more shotgun weddings." Robbie Landry said, "B, it's the chic, not shake, milkshake or chocolate shake."
I would actually say that Kevin was right on that. If you listen to the way that they
I'm going to
say
tell
it,
you I'm going to tell you the way I know this is that my brother worked for Conoco and was on loan to the Shake.
Right.
And
it might be spelled chic, but they say
has
it's shake.
a personal relationship with the Shake. Yeah. And I asked my brother, when he called him the Shake, I said, Shake or Chic? He goes, Shake.
It's just
That's what they call them.
Yes. And in this country, we've always said the sheik, but that's not what they say. They say the sheikh.
Yeah. They shake.
They shake.
I mean, there's
Shake,
more
shake,
nuance
shake.
to that because of the language that it is.
Sure.
It's not quite that simple, but yes, it's the sheikh.
All right. And John from Eunice says, guys, because of this puke, Gavin is thinking about a presidential run. He wants to clean up the homeless problem, which he helped create. Remember, handing out the free syringes and the other paraphernalia. Yep. I'm sure being a liberal, he thought he was helping, but wasn't really doing anything but exacerbating the situation, said John from
Like
Eunice.
so many of them.
And Brian says, well, actually, I'll say what this texter said first, and then we'll say what Brian said. My safe word is Worcester.
Worcestershire.
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 Like the sauce.
Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire.
Brian, see, I want to pronounce every letter.
It's Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. Brian said,
You have to say it with that Massachusetts accent.
Right.
Boston.
If you do it with a Massachusetts accent, it's Worcester.
Worcestershire.
Yeah, maybe.
And Brian said, safe words are for quitters. And that's it for the text.
You funny. All right. Hopefully I have time to talk about a retired UK police officer was arrested.
You do, but we do need to take a break.
Yeah, no, I'm going to take a break. I said when I come back, if I have time, I'm going to do the story about the police officer that's retired, but that was arrested for posting something on social media.
That's a good story.
In the UK. We'll get to that coming up. News this morning being brought to you by Fusion Medical Spa in Ruidoso. It's Ladies Month. Yeah, that means that the entire month of May, they're giving big discounts for procedures and products for women. Fusion is having the war on the wrinkles, which means Botox, $11 per unit with a registered nurse administering. And that's $1.50 per unit off. Plus, Fusion Medical Spa is offering $500 off the O-Shop that deals with women's urinary incontinence and 20% off the purchase of 3 treatments. Fusion is also offering 15% off a product that can restart hair growth for women with thinning hair. Fusion Medical Spa also offering stem cell therapy. Talk to Dr. Rapp today. If they tell you that you need surgery on your back, knees, joints, hips, whatever it is, before you go under the knife, talk to Dr. Rath about stem cell therapy. You can find them in the River Crossing in Ruidoso or 575-257-4772. Taking a break. We're coming right back. We're Beyond the Breakfast Club.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. President Trump starts a trip to the Middle East and Saudi Arabia, getting a royal welcome and signing an economic agreement with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
Business is on the agenda here in Saudi Arabia, no question, including arms deals, artificial intelligence, perhaps nuclear reactors to power them, and U.S. companies assisting.
Fox Lucas Tomlinson in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer says he'll block confirmation of Trump political appointees to the Justice Department until more is known about Trump being given a luxury jet by the nation of Qatar. Kentucky Senate Republican Rand Paul on Fox Business.
I don't know that if we can have an honest appraisal of their human rights record and decisions on arms sales if we're receiving $400 million gifts from a country, so I'm not for it.
The White House says any donations are handled with transparency and in compliance with the law. The president travels to Qatar next and then the United Arab Emirates. America's listening to Fox News.
If you need an aggressive, experienced personal injury attorney who is honest and true, you need to get the Gorilla.
So I'm 23 years old. I worked at a warehouse, and I took an injury which caused the amputation of my right leg. I was approached by a specific firm, and they turned my case down within 5 minutes. I was told to come visit the Gorilla Law Firm, and immediately they saw potential in my case. And I tell you what, Gorilla Law Firm had my back when no one else did. The Gorilla Law Firm made me a multi-millionaire. And if you're injured, you call the Gorilla Law Firm too.
The Gorilla Law Firm, 3130 North Grimes and Hobbs, or call 575-964-2720.
At Franklin Veterinary Clinic, they're a full-service clinic that offers comprehensive care for family pets, equine athletes, and livestock alike. They have multiple veterinarians on staff providing the best possible care for your animals at every stage of their life. And when emergencies arise, they offer 24-hour ambulatory services and after-hour emergency care. The new emergency number is 575-808-7725. Franklin Veterinary Clinic, a tradition in excellence and caring, proudly serving Lincoln, Chavez, and Otero counties.
Hey, man, turn that down. Where's my keys?
Hey, what's the rush?
I'm headed to the JC to sign up for some classes.
What's the hurry? We barely graduated.
I heard classes are filling up.
So what, you're gonna be a scientist or something?
Man, I could be a welder, police officer, barber, or maybe even a nurse. They make bank.
Yeah, right.
They even have audio and video classes for you.
Really? Hold up. Let me get my keys and I'll drive.
Just roll on out to New Mexico Junior College and register at nmjc.edu today.
In need of a tow? Those don't have to be dirty words. At Lee County Roadside, they have been offering friendly and knowledgeable service for 20 years. From light to heavy duty, there's nothing they can't tow. And with 24-hour availability, there's no time they can't tow it. Don't make a bad day worse by choosing the wrong tow company. Lee County Roadside, the good guys to call in a bad situation. For 24-hour service, call 575-392-3223 or locate them at 7401 North Del Paso, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Like Lee County Roadside on Facebook and follow them on Instagram.
I'm Robert Spoley. Call me VA Rob. I've been partnered with Indigo Mortgage for many years. We make the VA loan process easy, especially for first-time VA homebuyers. We help you overcome any concerns about your credit history and current debt, what's needed for a down payment, and help determine what you can afford. Avoid the high fees and runaround from national lenders. No one cares more about your VA loan than VA Rob. Learn more and apply online. VARob.net, proudly serving vets. NMLS 993-177 and 188-348.
Now open at the Western Heritage Museum and Lee County Cowboy Hall of Fame. Enjoy Prometheus in the Desert, the dawn of the nuclear age, an immersive exhibit that tells the history and science of the atomic bomb and the end of World War II. Exhibit includes props and costumes from the film Oppenheimer, a spare shell casing of Little Boy, and an interactive timeline. The Western Heritage Museum is located on the New Mexico Junior College campus at 1 Thunderbird Circle, Hobbs. Open daily 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wilbanks LLC and Wilbanks Trucking Services LLC have over 37 years of experience, from 1987 to 2025, in the Permian Basin oil and gas industry. Wilbanks recently divested out of the rig moving operations to focus exclusively on providing crane services to support the growing demand in the basin. Wilbanks continues to provide quality, expert, and performance-based services to a multitude of customers. With a fleet ranging from 60-ton to 350-ton cranes, locations in Hobbs, Artesia, and Odessa, they hope that you will consider their team for projects ranging from plant builds, compressor sets, to general site builds. Please call 575-746-6318 to find out what they can do for you. Wilbanks LLC, your regional expert in the crane world.
I woke up on the wrong side of the truck bed this morning.
Come on, give me some good posture. Hold your head up high. Tighten those buns. Get ready, because this is for you!
Your morning show powered by your Ford dealer. Be in the Breakfast Club being powered by Permian Ford. Truth hurts. Maybe not as much as jumping on a bicycle with a seat missing, but it hurts. Conservative values, conservative talk. You want to talk to Be in the Breakfast Club? 877-396-W105.
The following program is for entertainment purposes only.
Our number 877-396-W105. We are B and the Breakfast Club. UK retired police officer.
Yeah, it was a good
suing
story.
after being arrested. What's that, Blake?
I said this is a great story and a lesson to be learned.
So he's suing after posting a story on X and then being arrested. So this is a former police officer in the UK.
Yes.
Now, I want you to listen to this, because this is exactly where we were going if Donald Trump wasn't elected.
Right.
So he posted up about the Hamas attacks on Israel. He's 71 years of age. His name is Julian Folks. He's a retired special constable for Kent, England, and was arrested in November of 2023 at his home for posting on X.
Yes.
He was reported to law enforcement, and somebody said he posted something on X that made me feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all it takes in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
In England, all you have to do is make somebody feel uncomfortable, and they'll come out and arrest you.
Yep.
He said he was totally flabbergasted about, somebody being offended and then the police coming to arrest him.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we were going. Somebody hurts your feelings, you could be arrested. So now he's suing the UK. Like he should. You can't arrest somebody for posting something on Facebook. Believe me.
That's not the
If
first
that
time.
was the case, I would be doing life in prison.
Well, if you go to the UK, that could be. Because this isn't the first time. You can watch video after video of people being arrested for posting even stuff as much as their meatloaf sucked, right? Like they didn't like something. And so somebody was offended. So the police get called out.
Right.
I mean, it's one step away from the thought police.
So please do not post that Blake's meatloaf sucks because you could be arrested.
In England.
Don't do it. Yeah, in England, of course. England only. All right,
'Cause I
one
will take
sponsor,
I
then we'll
will
check
take
the
offense.
text.
I will take
and then we'll
offense.
get to the good news. I don't even like meatloaf, period. So
I'll
it
make it
probably
with
does
something
suck
else.
in my book.
I will make
So.
it with something else for you.
All right, morning show this morning being brought to you by La Tienda in Pecos, Texas. Look, if you're new to Pecos, maybe you're working in the old patch, you're looking for a great place to shop. La Tienda in Pecos, 810 South Eddy. So put that in your phone, 810 South Eddy in Pecos, and that will take you right to La Tienda and Pecos. Some of the specials going on right now. New York strip steak, $7.99 a pound. Bottom round roast, just $4.99 a pound. Spare ribs are just 2 fryer wings for $1.99 a pound. Red ripe strawberries, $1.77 for a pound. Also, mangoes are 99 cents each. Grape tomatoes are 99 cents for a pint. And red seedless grapes are just $1.99 for a pound. Deli department, they've got the white bread for $1.28. Also, the hickory smoked turkey breast for $7.49, and the Black Forest ham for just $4.29 a pound. And you're probably needing refreshments. They've got you covered with Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Big Red, other flavors, 24-pack for $11.99. Check them out today. 9:25, Monica. Get us updated with the text. Good news up next.
My safe word is there, not there or there. And it's pronounced wash your sister sauce. No, wash your sister sauce.
Worcestershire.
Junior DePorto said feelings. 575. Oh, why am I going to read that number? Why do they drive on the left side in England? It's a joke.
To make you ask that question.
Because they have no rights, said the texter.
Wow.
And that's like George Orwell's 1984.
Yep.
They thought police would arrest you and torture or execute you.
I'm telling you, you need to go back and read. If you haven't read it in a while or never read it at all, you need to read 1984, Animal Farm, Fahrenheit 451.
Oh, and Junior, he had sent 2, but it was just showing the feelings one. It says, jobs will fire you for posting stuff that hurts people's feelings.
Nothing more
Than feelings. Listen.
for the seat.
I laugh because at my previous job, there's a certain person who posts all kinds of bad stuff about their job. and the management and whatnot. And the management is yet to do anything because, like, they don't care. Like, I feel like
Well, because, I mean, if you know it's true, you can't do anything about it.
Right.
Right.
That's part of the issue.
It's kind of like libel and slander. You can't be held for those if the actual the thing that you're saying is true.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ultimate defense against both libel and slander.
Sure.
Like
It's
if
the
somebody
truth.
says that Kevin B is an a-hole, well, I can't sue that person.
No, because the truth is the ultimate
Exactly.
defense.
I'm not going to fight you on that.
No. I got sued once for libel and I won because I was telling the truth.
Somebody said pronounce it Roostershire sauce or Rooster sour sauce. Mario B from Lovington said Miracle B hasn't gotten fired after talking all that shite to Tom. Listen, at this point, like, I understand every single frustration from B's point of view towards Tom. I mean, I don't want to go into great
I
detail.
love Tom.
Right.
I do
Tom
too.
is my boy.
Let there be no
And-
doubt that everyone here loves Tom.
Absolutely.
If you think otherwise, that is incorrect.
But now I understand the point where, like, you genuinely, like,
It's
Tom,
because you
if
do
he
care.
if he doesn't want help and he wants to be Tom A and not, the dude won't take his medicine. There, that's it. I said it. And
There you
Tom, you
go.
can come for me.
There you go. He won't take his damn medicine, okay?
Yeah, after having been
He's
almost dead
non-compliant.
in 3
I hope
hospitals.
you're listening, Tom. I'm calling you in just a second, you non-compliant son of a gun. We got to get to good news. Being brought to you by Herschel Rustin Hayes. Avenue D. You see the way I did that?
Yeah.
Avenue D in Lovington, 575-396-0513. Home Auto Life Insurance. Check him out today. Proud sponsor of the good news of the day.
Kevin being all professional. A 31-year-old former Royal Marine from the UK just completed the longest triathlon ever. It was more than 8,000 miles, and he did it over the course of 8 months. He started last September by swimming the English Channel. Then he rode a 7,500-mile bike ride from Europe to India. Then he walked and ran more than 500 miles to Nepal and finished up on Sunday by climbing Mount Everest. Now, he did it to raise money for a group called SAVSIM, which is a charity in the UK that protects wildlife and also works with veterans. And finally, 5 fishermen arrived in the Galapagos Islands on Saturday after 55 days at sea. Their engine in their boat had died and they'd been missing since mid-March, and all of them now are in good health. And Kevin, that is your good news of the day.
Tradio coming up next. News this morning being brought to you by Roach Air Conditioning and Heating. Your choice for your next HVAC job. They've got the experience to take care of all of your air conditioning needs. If yours is not performing the way it's supposed to, call Enrique Rocha. His number is 575-631-1999. We'll see you tomorrow for a Wednesday edition of Being the Breakfast Club. I'm getting ready to go take some medicine and go me. You guys have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Tradio up next.
MTD Radio News, I'm Blake